Okay, so basically the first thing you would want to do before a run is basically you want to have a file set up like this, right? So that basically you can access this menu, and then you take the Wolf Link amiibo, if this shows up, I think it should, and you put it on the thing, right? And so basically it's saying, look at the Wii U gamepad. Down here it basically says, do you want to assign this amiibo to the quest log, right? And then you just say yes. I've already done it, so I'm going to say no. But basically what this allows you to do is, let's see, if I go back out of here, right, and then on the, instead of saving, on the title screen, if I put the Wolf Link amiibo on the amiibo tracker, it is going to load whatever is in slot 1. And this, like, just, it's not dependent on, like, the specific file. You can set this up beforehand, and then start a new file, and whenever you save warp, you can just do this, and it'll load the file. So this is going to load the first of the 2 files. So, anyways. Yeah. Alright, I can go ahead and clear my files, and then we can get started. That's just what the amiibo is used for. It's like 6 save warps, I think, so it saves on the order of like 30 seconds or something. Something to note, it's not the last file that you saved on that the Wolf Link goes to, it's just the slot that you tied to. So since I tied it to slot 1, it's always going to load slot 1. So anyways, okay, go ahead and go. So obviously you want to skip pretty much every single cutscene. I don't think there's any that, off the top of my head, that we like specifically don't skip. And then you want to roll over to the right here. We have to go get Epona basically to clear Ordon Day 1. The early game is actually pretty close to this. We're just trying to progress the story as quickly as possible. And it's pretty much just like a bunch of rolling. So I'm going to grab Epona here, and you don't want to press A to roll over there because you'll talk to Amelia. But basically you just want to dash through here. I'm going to go through some grass right here. And as you see, I got a rupee there. Well, there's like random rupees that can be in there. You want to get to 5 before goats, basically. There's also a patch of grass you can get here that might have a rupee. But there are 3 guaranteed rupees in Ordon as you go towards goats that are on the way. So there's always 1 in this patch. And then there can be anywhere between 2 and like 6 in this patch, depending if there's a blue rupee. Maybe there could be 10, I don't know. Now we're going to do goats. I'm not going to explain the route of the goats too much. Basically, you want to go get each group in succession. So left, then the middle. And that was not done very well. But you want to basically go left, middle, and then clean up a little. Go get this one on the left, and then finish cleaning up. And hopefully you don't have a goat go around the side like that. Hopefully I'll be able to show it off a little better in Goats 2. It's like a similar route for Goats 2, but anyways, if you do that right, then none of those goats should go off to the side. Thanks for the good luck. Good luck on making a tutorial. Obviously, you want to say no to the save prompt here. You pretty much never want to actually do the save prompt. Only times we actually save warp is when, like, we get items halfway through dungeons, pretty much. So I'm going to go down the ladders. You want to, like, press A to drop down the ladder fast, and then go ahead and go out the door. Now I'm going to hold forward and A. What I'm doing here is actually input buffering. So on the first frame that I regain control of the Link, it's going to input those inputs, essentially. And that's useful for a bunch of stuff, but specifically here, it lets me roll off and avoid the ladder. So I roll over to the eagle guy, right? Go ahead and climb up and talk to him. While you're climbing those vines, by the way, is a good time, like at some point in early game, I mean, this is dependent on how each player does this. You want to press the items tab to pull that up. No problem, do I? Alright, so you want to aim at this monkey. The bird actually lags behind a little where your cursor is, so if you, like, aim really quickly at the bird, it won't go exactly where the target is if you were still moving. And I'm just gonna jump over here, right? And go ahead and bring the little basket over here. So we can just walk over here, and she's gonna give us the fishing rod. The reason we're getting the fishing rod is to fish for the cat to get the bottle, and the slingshot, more specifically. Which will unlock the wooden sword. So what I'm gonna do here, okay, I like rolled over to the right there. You don't have to roll, but you wanna, so here, let me do it again. You wanna like walk over here, and then walk back to the post, kind of like that. So you get up on top of it, then you like hold towards the right lip of the house there, right? And then you can go get the rupees here, which helps a lot. So we need to get to 30. So I didn't get 5 random rupees before, or 2 random rupees before Goats 1. So I'm actually short of rupee right now. There are 3 rupees here. You should only ever need 2. This one and the one over here are the fastest to get, I believe, in that order. We can roll over here and fish. If you aim towards where the fish are, I believe it is faster for the fish to actually bite. But to a certain amount, it's like a little random. But once they bite, you should just be able to hold R and back in the control stick. Unfortunately, I missed the first one there. And doing this is going to get the cat to go back, which will unlock the shop, essentially. The reason we need the slingshot is so that we can get the wooden sword, which we need to save Tallow, or, well, kind of need, but also, well, we need it to be able to get back into the area where we can save Tallow. Because the area won't be in the right state, essentially. Ideally, you roll in between that and the door, but my camera was wonky. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this milk bottle. And then I'm only gonna press A whenever I'm mashing in the shop text, because B will back me out of the text. One thing you'll notice is when I'm text mashing most of the time, I'm mashing with ZR and B. And how I'm doing that is basically, so if I hold my fingers like this, right, with the width where you're like pressing down one button but not the other, you can just like go back and forth. Like if you just hold your fingers rigid like that. Okay, and you want to walk forward a little while targeting that spider, otherwise you'll go into the slingshot first-person mode, which will keep you from walking forward, and will just make you aim further up when you try. But we're gonna go ahead and grab the wooden sword here. And then go back outside. We could have done the slingshot tutorial before getting the wooden sword, but if you do them at the same time, essentially, there'll be like a dialogue prompt that'll have them lead into each other, and it'll save a bit of time. You still do them in the same order. So we're gonna go ahead and skip the cutscene. I like to target and hit this one immediately, just because I don't have to aim. And it works conveniently coming out of 2 cutscenes, and then I aim for level 5. And of course I missed one. But I'm using gyro to aim, obviously. So now this is actually kind of interesting. You can kind of like mix your text mashing with the inputs for the sword tutorial. Not the spin attack, because you can't really mash that one. But the other ones, you just, you know, kind of start pressing one button once you're pretty close to the end of the text. So now we can go save Tallow because we can actually ride Epona. And there's no gate there. So we can actually go back to Foreign Woods, which, you know, Foreign Woods is already in the right state to save Tallow, but this is the only way we can really get there feasibly. Or in any way that, like, actually allows us to finish the game. Let's put it that way. So if we skip this cutscene, keep going on the horse. You definitely do need to get on the horse. I have rolled over here once, and you can't get past that gate, obviously. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let go of the control stick and just start pressing A. And what that is going to do is going to basically allow me to, instead of making the horse move, it's going to let me just only be able to just talk to Koro and get the lantern pretty fast while, like, not slowing down or getting off the horse. And then you'll see I held backwards to turn around Epona, and while doing that I equipped the lantern. There's a lot of, like, just... I mean, you don't have to do your equips the exact same way I do. I just do them in, like, specific spots because I find it fast and convenient to move the items then. But there's a lot of optimization around, like, trying to equip items while moving without hindering your movement or making it, like, worse. But anyways, so now we can go back over here. I'm gonna pull out the lantern while falling. It's gonna save a few frames. It's not that big of a deal, though. Every time you have to pull out your lantern, it's like 5 frames, I think, over what it would be otherwise. So since I already have it out for each of these webs, I'm going to save 5 frames. Compared to, like, if I had just put it away. Obviously don't want to bonk there. Let's see. Normally, I mean, I kind of know the timing for this, but as soon as he starts, like, walking forward just a little bit past the web, you can roll. You should be safe to go. And whether or not you put the lantern away doesn't really matter. Because you're gonna run out of lantern oil on the monkey escort later anyways, so you can put it away while waiting for the web to go away, but it doesn't really matter. So we need to get the small key so that we can go to the North Faran area. Again, nothing really complicated here. It's just moving through the areas. Just a bunch of rolling and horse movement. Not really anything super interesting until about, you know, halfway through Forest Temple, pretty much. So the movement I'm doing through here is pretty much the fastest way to get over to the key door. You can go under the arch as well, but they're like about the same time. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my sword. Well, I was gonna try. Apparently I failed. But you want your sword out here, because you want to be able to do a jump slash to save just a little bit of time whenever entering this cutscene. Because you'll keep traveling forward, even though I believe it's an air trigger. So the cutscene will be playing, like, you saw it start a little bit while I was still moving through the air, but you're still getting, like, some horizontal distance. So you save another little bit of time. Okay, so where I'm going to stand here is about where you're going to want to stand doing this. You want to wait for these goblins to come over to you, and then you just slash 4 times to kill them. Do a jump swing and break the cage. Am I reading chat during this? Well, clearly I am. There's going to be some chat engagement, but I mean, there's a lot of talking I have to do to, like, explain stuff, so... So we just want to mash through this text, and there's going to be a cutscene right after it. And now we have to do the second version of goats. So this is a similar strategy actually to the first set of goats, where I'm doing the easy route. There is a harder route of goats, but the way I'm doing is the most consistent way. So you go left, except just get like an extra one this time. You get the middle pack, and then you get the ones going around to the right. Right? So it's kind of like this. Of course, there's one goat that's going the wrong way, unfortunately. I got him doing it the right way, so... There we go. So optimally, this route gets you like a 20-second time. But again, it's a similar strategy. You just make a bunch of sweeps back and forth until you get all of them in, going from furthest out to closest in, essentially. Cutscene here. And I'm going to pause to explain something about the goats. So, I mean, you just have to get a feel, kind of, for how the goats move and exactly where you need to position the horse to get them to move the way you want them to. And this horse is a bit harder to control than an SD, so it's not quite as easy. But another thing to note, this is why I paused, really, is that if the goat goes the wrong way, you do not want to try to go behind it and then get around to its side from going from behind. You want to basically go from in front of it and cut off its path, essentially. And if you do that, it will basically save you a bunch of time and in terms of fixing a bad goat. Optimally, you shouldn't have to do that, but if you have to, that's just something small that saves time. But yeah, so now that we've done all that, Ilya took the horse in the cutscene, and we have to go over here. The kids are going to talk to us, and then we go through a tunnel to go to sewers. And pretty much this entire section takes a little over 13 minutes, this entire Ordon section. I took a little longer because playing badly and explaining stuff. So after we go through all that text, we can just roll up in the left. And again, you can, for pretty much any cutscene or pause, you can store inputs out of it. I mean, technically it saves a little time to hold inputs out of those. I'm not perfect about always doing that, but it does save a bit of time over the run compared to just spamming, A to roll or something after the cutscene. And then we're going to go through this tunnel, get a cutscene, and then we're going to get a save prompt and then like another set of cutscenes. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dash, walk 12 times. Let's start a B combo and hold left on the last one, and then I'll break the box. But you ask why, what? Digging through, and now get another cutscene. Oh, the eye tracker is just to help people. Okay, I need to explain something about this door. Yeah, so if you stand at the very edge of this door, it's not going to push, like, when you're right there. But if you stand, like, a little further back from the edge, it'll actually push. Saves a little time. And then you can basically Z-target and grab this. But yeah, the eye tracker is to go ahead and make it so that it's easier for people to know what I'm looking at for cues. Anyways, so when I walked off there, I let go of the control stick, so that basically I wouldn't jump all the way out and I'd land faster. Or yeah, I think it does land faster, but also you just don't travel as much distance that you don't want to travel. Anyways, so we go get that ring from the ground, and then we're going to go over here and get this other ring. So there is something about timing your dashes here a little bit to try to get some dash cancels. So a dash cancel happens whenever you run off a ledge or like climb up something, really early on in a dash, or if you B-attack early on during dash, it'll make it so that. So if I do it here, let's do a B-attack version. See how I can dash immediately? It's not optimal in terms of normal movement, but basically that is useful because you get your dash back faster, and it's useful for like moving in certain scenarios. Anyways. So we're gonna run up here to the right side, and then we're gonna jump off to the left, right? And you're gonna see what happened. I didn't hit the little stone there, but since it fell and I went through a certain area in the air, really, it basically activated this Midna prompt up here and a Midna text there, but we jumped over the Midna text, so it's not worth like slowing down to get that, but it's just something that saves a little bit of time. So, some more Midna jumps. It's like a rope. We're going to hug the inside here so that we pretty much automatically get onto the rope. Makes it a lot easier. We can go ahead and do more Midna jumps. This cutscene right here. I'm going to jump attack onto here, just get climbing up the long way. I don't think I've explained something. Whenever you're coming out of text, if you basically input buffer a jump attack, which is what I'm doing right now, by the way, after skipping cutscenes so I don't get more text. If you do that on a Midna jump that's coming out of like text, then you'll get the first jump immediately rather than waiting for her to go out for you to target. It's just a nice little thing. Climb up this box and go over here. You want to go up on this little ledge here. It's just a little faster than climbing. So pretty much every time in HD, if you want to do that, you can buffer a jump out of text, and it's basically always getting faster. Anyways, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're buffering a jump while while pressing pause to skip the cutscene. There's not text there. That's just, you know, again, saving a little time. Go back out here, get the cutscene again. And then we can not do sword and shield skip. You can do sword and shield skip, it's just we wouldn't have a sword, so we can't really finish the game if you did sword and shield skip. So, and also, because we didn't do back in time, because it's not a thing in HD. The Ordon is like actually in the right state for you to be able to. Like, I know SD has to do it if you do bit. That's not the case in HD because we just don't do bit at all. So we're gonna go through here. Swirl's gonna talk to us. This is one of the more nice feeling texts to mash through. Get a cutscene. And then we're gonna jump off this bridge so that we land a little closer. This is like another minor optimization. Talk to them once you get pretty much near this patch of grass right here. Another cutscene. You do not want to run too far around to the left because you need to get this cutscene to get the Midna prompt here. Buffer another Midna jump. And we're gonna dash and turn right just at the right time so that we can just jump straight into the cutscene. It is an air trigger, so you don't actually have to be that close to making the jump. Like, you could miss the jump really, but the game will give it to you. Okay, so this is important. So I'm gonna jump down here and climb up right. So I want to step forward about this much, right? It's pretty much a full half step or something. The positioning on here is precise, otherwise you're gonna fall off this wall. Okay, so I messed it up, but let's try it again. So you don't have to, like, obviously, if you miss it, you probably shouldn't line it up again like this, but it's just convenient to do this way. So like half a step forward like that, and then that makes the jump, right? But that what happened earlier is basically if your positioning is not very good, you'll just hit the wall and fall off. So now that we have the shield, we can go get the sword. Interestingly, if you try to go get the sword first, it is not there until you get the shield. And if you try to skip the Midna text for the shield, which you can do, it'll make it so that I'm just gonna dig. You don't want to press A after you get near the chicken because the dash will take you far enough. The sword just wouldn't be there, so that's why we don't skip the Midna text there. You can also skip this Midna text by like safe warping out of a jump attack. But that in turn makes it so that the Ordon spirit doesn't talk to you, and you can't get in the right state to be able to go into Far On Twilight. So that's also something we don't want to do. I'm gonna try not to talk to this chicken. And then Russell goes on cycles here. If he's really close to the house, you should just go around the bottom path there, like the one that he's walking on. Just to avoid him. It's not that much slower. But it is RNG where he is. So now we're gonna dash over here. I'm gonna go off to the left a little just because it makes it so that we trigger this cutscene a bit faster. Let's get the cutscene. Spirit will talk to us once, and then we get a Shadow Beast. Currently, the fastest way we have to kill Shadow Beasts is 2 spin attacks, because we don't have Minute Charge. So we're gonna do 2 spin attacks. Unfortunately, I missed one because I'm bad, but you basically just walk forward and do a spin attack and then do that again. It's really easy. So now that we've done that, Minna will let us go into Far On Twilight. Just the cutscene, say yes, you can go. There's 2 cutscenes, or really 3 in a row here. Alright, we're gonna dash forward. There's gonna be a cutscene right around here. Just a second, right here. Get in the middle, and there's gonna be a cutscene that's not skippable. You gotta sit through, unfortunately. And then we just have to kill these 3 Shadow Beasts. Since this is a group of them, I should probably explain the Shadow Beast mechanic. Basically, the only way the final Shadow Beast in a group like this can die is being hit by Minute Charge, or being hit by a spin attack from Human. But right there, I just did 2 spin attacks to kill 2 of them as fast as possible so that you can leave one alive. If you try to kill all 3 of them together with a spin attack, this will flame. The 3rd one just will not die. The attacks are a little spread out, so we're going to do 2 groups here, 1 and then 2. You do not, contrary to popular belief, have to kill them at the exact same time. For example, as Human Link, there's enough time where if you kill one before the other, you can get the spin attack in to kill the last one. But yeah, so that's basically how those fights work. It is a little faster, I think, to do those fights as we just close them out with up there. To do those fights with Human Link. Because it's just a little faster than Minute Charge, I guess, and you have to do less transforms usually. But anyways, so we're dashing over here, and as soon as these guys are not electric, we can go ahead and jump attack them. And then I do a little timing thing here. So I start the dash basically. How do I put this? So they'll explode around the same time interval as the difference between when you hit them. Also, that Scarecrow will control you if you like keep pressing A. So okay, so if you store that Minna jump essentially, right, you'll automatically target the Scarecrow, and then you'll be looking the wrong way. So it's just kind of something to keep in mind. But what I was saying was the bugs will explode around the same difference in time as the difference of time between when you hit them. So I'll hit the first and second ones, and usually there's a certain rhythm to that, and I just keep that in mind, and I'll just start dashing around the same time as the second one should explode, essentially. And that way I can get an earlier dash than normal. But I'm going to go ahead and B attack and press A, and then talk to Koro here. I'm going to hold B, walk a little bit forward, and then I'm going to let go of X as soon as I let go of B. And what that's going to do is it'll give me both the tears and the cutscene if I do it right. And also, Koro will not talk to me because I don't have senses ready. I just did a little jump off there that made a little bit faster in terms of movement. So we got those bugs now. There's this bug. Based on where he moves, you can kind of tell where he's going to go. But if you don't know, you should just walk forward and kind of attack until you get him. There are certain cases where you know exactly where he's gonna go, and you can just dash attack and jump attack him right where he's gonna be. But anyways, I'm gonna try to get a little trick here. Every time you dig out of something like this, there's one frame where if you press A on that frame, you can dash. But there's 2 of those, so hopefully I can get the other one to show off. So right there, I wanted to go up under that little wedge, right, so that I can jump at this guy and not lose time, and just immediately dash to get over here. We're trying to go fast through this part because there's that log cycle that we really want to make. I probably won't make it. We'll see. And you can just kind of jump attack at both these guys. I'm probably going to make second log cycle. But again, just more mid jumps. I don't know why the game thought that this was more interesting than just like time events, basically, but whatever. Alright, so we're just missing first cycle. That was second cycle log, which is still okay. I'm gonna just do more mid jumps. And these guys are getting digging around. You want to dash over here and start digging immediately if you want to do this re-dig method. If you wait too long, target both of them, get both of them before they start moving. But if you wait too long, then you'll get a cutscene and only dig one of them out. You can't store the but, you know, I'm not exactly sure. You just can't. I've tried. But it just won't let you. So again, we do 2 groups there. Another thing to note, sometimes one of those guys is really close to the wall and you can't distract him very easily, like he'll just be staring at the wall. So what you want to do is you want to go directly over to that guy, then target him with the Mina charge first, and then go get the other guy and let go of the Mina charge. And if you do that, then you won't crash into the wall while getting the one that's staring at the wall. If you just target them in the reverse order, you're very likely to hit the wall in between, and then you only kill one of them and have to do the whole thing over again. Huge waste of time. But if you... Basically, how the Mina charging works is... it'll attack the ones in the... So it's like a stack in computer science. So, like, you have the first one you get in the charge range, then the second one, then the third one, basically, if you do 3, right? And then it undoes those movements, basically. So it'll get the third one that you targeted, then the second one, then the first one. And so if you do them in that specific order, it's just a way to not hit the wall. And maybe I'll be able to show that off with some other thing. So anyways, we're just gonna go get these guys. There's a few ways to do this movement. I just dash and jump attack, then spin off and dash and jump attack at this guy a couple times until I get him. Some people do like Minda charges and then wait for one and get the other. It's all really up to reference. Alright, so we're gonna get another cutscene here. And we're gonna store a backflip to get out of this Minda text right here. I'm gonna roll backwards and hug this wall so that we avoid some Minda text. Alright, so now we want to talk to Koro. Get a small key. You'll see the gate isn't there at the exit of Foreign Woods, but we can't leave yet because there is a minute trigger that will tell us to go finish Forest Temple. However, once we get the boomerang, we could go out. It's just that we need to finish the Forest Temple in the current route to get past Kakariko Gorge, because we need to finish Forest Temple to be able to get the bridge. So that's why we're finishing all of Forest Temple rather than just skipping half of it. So we just gotta roll through this tunnel, and then once we get through the end, we're gonna pull out our lantern. Am I teaching you all that? Well, I'm teaching the internet. There isn't a new tutorial for, like, the updated route, so I was just trying to make one. Of course, as soon as I make this, there's gonna be, like, another route that comes out, I'm sure. Just because that's pretty much what happened last time. It was, like, within a month and a half. Whatever. So, there is no way to skip this monkey escort, unfortunately. Once it's in this state, if you pull out the lantern, which you need and can use, technically, to get rid of this purple mist, the monkey will just get you every time, basically, so you have to do this escort. I'm gonna try to push her. She has like a specific line she wants to go on. I'm also gonna try to get some rupees on the way, because I want about 10 at the end of this. Also want to make sure she doesn't get scared by the bats, and not to get too far away from her. Unfortunately, I failed at that second part. Got a lot of rupees now. Most of the rupees in this escort are random, but there's a patch of grass right in front of me that if I jump slash quick spin into, I'm gonna get 4 rupees every time. There's always 4 rupees in that patch of grass. So you'll see she walked backwards a little there because I pushed her off the path a little. So things to note, this monkey can either swing like a normal length or twice the normal length. It's completely luck-based. If she gets scared by the bat, she will do a little small panic routine, and then she will do the normal length right after that. So technically, it is not as slow if you knew somehow that you were gonna get a unfortunately I missed the cycle skip there. If you push her well enough, you can skip the cycle. But if you knew somehow that you were gonna get the 2 cycle, and she's walking pretty much her full distance before she gets scared by the bat, it actually is faster to have that happen and immediately kill the bat. But anyways, we're gonna pick up the lantern, go ahead and equip it before we go in this loading zone. To get into Troll's shop, we're gonna have to kill a goblin. So we're gonna hit these 2 to distract the other one and bring it over here. Slash it twice, it's the fastest way to kill it. Then we're gonna go ahead and get the oil to refill the lantern, and then we're gonna get out of here as fast as we can. We're gonna just roll out of there. If you don't roll out fast enough, you will get an extra text from Trill. Basically, I don't remember exactly what she says, but or I don't remember if it's a she or a he, the bird. It's a bird, whatever. Yeah, you just get an extra text and waste a little time. So, anyways. So we're gonna go ahead and jump attack. It's the fastest way to hit this guy, since he's pretty far away from us. You could try to, like, stab him, but it wouldn't reach. And he's gonna hit us back. I'm gonna go through a bunch of text. He's gonna say how to do the finishing blow, basically. Or ending blow. I guess it's called ending blow in this game. Gonna jump attack to knock him down as fast as possible again. And then as soon as the finish prompt comes up, which you can kind of just memorize the timing, you can go ahead and press A to finish if you're targeting him. We do actually need this skill to beat the game, so even if we could skip this, you wouldn't want to. I mean, you could technically get a different wolf somewhere else that could also give you ending blow. But, you know, it's just this one's, like, so convenient that, anyways, whatever. There's no point in skipping it. I just thought that would be interesting to mention. Something to note about the wolves is that in other categories, like in Hundo, they will not, they're not tied to the location. Like, the Howling Stones are tied to a specific wolf location, but the skills are not tied to any given location. And the wolves will always get you. That was not the fastest way to do that. Normally you just want to slash while walking past and then spin attack to kill the cage and him. But yeah, the golden wolves will just give you the skills in order no matter what. So it's always ending blow, then shield attack, etc. I think back slice, then like helm. No, there's one between that and helm splitter. Whatever. Actually, no, I think... whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna roll 5 times here and try to stab this spider. And I did. That is gonna stun him so that I can get the finishing blow on him. If you go too early or too late, just because of the quality of the rolls, then essentially you're just gonna have to wait for that spider to try to attack you and do a jump spin. It is worth noting that if you do your spins counterclockwise, then you will actually be able to kill with a 1 jump spin, which I haven't explained jump spin, so I should probably do that. Anyways, so how you do a jump spin, some people don't know this, so I thought I'd mention. You just target, press A, and do a spin attack in the air, like with the control stick. So I'll do it again so you can see the inputs. Anyway, so I'm gonna go over here, and then go over to the east wing of Forest, so that we can get the other monkey to open the west wing. And once we have the west wing, we can do a trick to get to the boomerang without getting the rest of the monkeys. Jump spins are very useful in this game. You want to make sure you know how to do jump spins. Alright, so now we have a bridge cutscene. Obviously, we can just skip that. And go across here. The reason we're going over here is to get a key. The area where the second monkey is locked off. Now that we have a key, we can go back and get the monkey. And I know I'm not stopping to explain a ton of stuff. That's because there's not all that much to explain in the early game. I'll stop to explain stuff once we get to like cooler glitches. So I'm gonna pull out the sword. I'm gonna roll here. I'm gonna roll to the side of the spider and jump slash, and that's just gonna allow me to not have to kill the spider. If you fall in the water there, I guess I'll show when I get back out of this room. If you fall in the water there, there's like some vines that you can climb up to get back out. Rather than like going all the way back across the room, which I used to do because I didn't know about the vines, you can just climb the vines. So again, slash eat death twice, fastest way to kill the goblins right now. And then there's a timer on the monkeys to get up here, so if those guys drop rupees, you should get them. But anyways, I just like to get up here fast. Again, we're gonna hold forward to just go ahead and jump over here. Okay, so the vines I'm talking about are right over to my left. So let's find them real quick. I see they're right there. So if you fall in the water, you should swim over here. It's faster. So we can just roll by this spider again. If you press A and hold forward in the air, you should roll like immediately when you land. As long as you're holding basically forward. Pull up the lantern in the air. Just because you gotta save those frames, you know? And as an interesting way of timing this cobweb, I can backflip in the roll. It will usually be pretty much the right timing. Otherwise, you can just, you know, not do the swag strat, just walk forward. Alright, so I'm gonna go straight outside to an area that you're normally not supposed to be able to go through until you have the boomerang. And then I'm gonna talk to Midna. Talking to Midna is going to cause the wind to blow if it's already blowing. And then I'm gonna what I did right there is I did a target roll with like specific timing. You kind of have to learn this yourself to roll into the side of this gate. So now I can like walk in here, and once I get about halfway, I'll call Midna again. Since the wind is still blowing, this will go ahead and turn, which means we save a cycle of wind. Use some side hops right there. The reason you can't do the side hop on the first one is because there's an invisible wall if you try to side hop or jump while it's moving. Which is why we have to be like wait until it stops moving, basically. But anyways, now that we're in here, we can just go ahead and fight you. And you have to two-cycle this guy. The quickest way to do this is to do a jump spin and a quick spin, although I missed the spin part of the jump spin, honestly. And I got perfect luck there, actually. Of course, I screwed up. Sometimes the boomerang won't go directly back to him. So let's see, basically I just two-cycled the guy. But sometimes the boomerang won't go directly back to him. You just have to keep rolling into the thing. I unfortunately missed right before it was about to come back to hit him. But anyways. Do I think any of the later hidden skills will ever be needed to perform a trick that will save enough time to make it worth giving? Maybe backslice. Backslice is useful for gaining some height. And that is only 3 in, I think, which isn't that terrible. The other thing that could potentially save time would be jump strike, but you'd have to save like almost 10 minutes for that to be worth it. Just because of how long it takes to do those things. Anyways, so now that we get the boomerang here, and we're gonna go ahead and save warp, because we need to get back to that room with the spider to get the boss key. And it's faster to go there from the front of the dungeon, which is why we're save warping. Good time to get at this save warp is around 37 minutes. So I'm using the Wolf Link amiibo, by the way, to quick load the file. I explained that a little bit at the beginning. But anyways, let's do it again. You want to target both of these spiders, ideally, to get them off in one go. But if you target them individually, that's fine too. Doesn't waste that much time, just a minor little movement thing. And then we can go ahead and go into the boss key room. Alright, so what we're gonna do here is something that's just a little faster than going all the way around. So what we can do here, there's a couple ways to do this. You can walk all the way around here, right? Or you can LJ across by basically, which I haven't explained LJs, but you pull out your sword, right? Pressing B, and then press A while it's over this area, which is why you need your targets to keep it over there. A slightly faster way to do this is to basically walk into this corner, make it so that you're facing, like, how do I put this? This fence post right here that I'm looking at, thankfully I have the eyetracker, needs to be, like, pretty much in the middle of your vision. It doesn't really, it's, like, not super precise. Then you, target roll and hold forward so that you jump, and then you just do that again. It's really easy. Once you're standing here, you can just target these 3. The boomerang should automatically get the first one. And you can go ahead and get this. I will explain LJs in a minute here, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab this first. And then we're gonna explain in the room coming up here. But yes, for now, for like the next 30 seconds, you just need to know that you can kind of fly with the boomerang. Kind of. It's another little movement optimization, rolling into the side so you can roll a little faster. Well, a little faster. I can't really talk right now. I'm gonna roll forward and just throw the boomerang. It should automatically hit this while I'm walking. You can roll a couple times over here. And then once I get to the end of this bridge, I'm just gonna aim up, throw the boomerang, and do an LJ. So, okay. So anyways, how these work, if you haven't been paying attention to the inputs and the scenarios, is essentially whenever you throw the boomerang, you're targeting the boomerang until you move. So if I move, for example, I'm no longer targeting the boomerang. The other way to not target the boomerang is if I Z target. Then I'm also not targeting the boomerang. But there's a mechanic in this game that when you're targeting something, say an enemy, from like really far away, and it is above you, you'll jump extra far as a way from the programmers, I think, they want you to basically be able to get there. And that works the same with the boomerang because it uses the same targeting system, essentially. So the 3 scenarios, there's 3 scenarios in which you'll get a long jump attack, as we call it, which is basically just the same height as a normal jump attack, except you get a lot of extra distance. You won't gain a whole lot of height this way. If you do it with jump strike, you would. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw the boomerang, and instead of... Okay, since the game treats the boomerang as a target, you can jump attack by just pressing A with your sword out. So we're going to pull out the sword with B, right? And then press A. Okay, so if I aim up over here... Okay. So the reason that worked as an LJA, by the way, there's 3 scenarios in which you get a long jump. One, is if the boomerang is over a void. So, like I just did, boomerang was over the void when I jumped. If I were to throw it normally, like over here, and then jump, let's see if I can do this. See how I just get, like, kind of a normal jump attack there? That's because it wasn't really satisfying in the conditions. But it can be over the void, it can be, let's see if I can go out of bounds here. Let's see if there's a good wall for this. Should be fine. No, it doesn't really go out of bounds either. Well, anyways, just take my word for it. There's a common way to basically get the boomerang to go out of bounds, where you target one spot and then another, and then in between those two spots, see how it was out of bounds for just a second there? Okay, so yeah, during that time, when the boomerang is out of bounds, or above basically the out of bounds area, I can get a long jump attack. And this usually works when the boomerang is out of bounds. The other way, which I showcased earlier, was to have the boomerang be over a higher ground, and then you just can jump super far. So anyways, that's basically all the LJA conditions and how you do them. And I'm just gonna show off the prescribed ones, but know that you can like be pretty creative in how you want to do your long jumps. I'm gonna do a little side hop there just to get a better angle, and I can just roll forward and immediately throw the boomerang. Of course, my angle is bad there. You kind of want to aim a little to the left of this, and then you jump as soon as the boomerang's over the void coming back, right? And you'll do the jump attack, and you'll get the distance. The reason you want to aim to the left of where you normally want to be, if you're gonna... How do I put this? When you throw the boomerang, it will go somewhere, and then when it comes back to you, it's going... Like, it loops around so that it's going, like, kind of to the right, and then comes back to you. So there, since I wanted to go this direction, like, up this tree, I aimed off to the left over there, basically. So that when it was coming back, it would be along that line, essentially. And then I could just jump straight over here. So that was the idea behind that. Now I can just go ahead and jump slash up here. You want to space this out pretty well. Now I can just target pretty much anywhere along here. And do a long jump attack to get over here. There are other methods of doing that. That's just the one I know. Okay, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pause to talk about something, and I don't want to have to pause like right when the thing starts. First of all, I'm gonna answer this question if you joined. Yeah, the TP Discord has like a lot of good tools for HD and SD. They're listed in the resources or useful links section, something like that. They're all pretty darn nice. There are a couple tools that you'd have to ask Dragonbane for or for permission to use, but there are nice tools. Okay, so Diababa. I should probably explain some of the mechanics of Diababa. Basically, how the fight works is you get two bombs into the mouths of the small ones, then you go through a cutscene, and then you gotta wait for Ook to come out, right, who will give you bombs to basically hit the guy, right? And if you hit the guy twice, and you can basically two-cycle him, and he'll die, right? I'm talking about the main head here. You'd have to get the bomb to hit the main head. Another thing to note that's just a fun little tidbit, Ook doesn't actually come out until the side heads attack you twice. There's actually something fun you can do here to make it so that those side heads die early on in the second phase without attacking you twice, and then you're just soft lock. It's really funny. But yeah, so there's that. But basically, because of this whole mechanic of him needing two bombs, we can basically bring over two bombs from the first phase, since there are bomblings, and then just manage the fuse well, essentially so that we can hit the guy twice without having to have Ook come out. So we call this Ookless. I have a specific tutorial on this. It doesn't have eyetracker, but it is a nice tutorial. There are good tutorials for this out there, but I'm just going to go ahead and try to explain it real fast. What we're going to do, we're going to target the middle bombling, and then target the head on the left, okay? So what this is going to do is going to get that bomb into that guy's mouth, take him down. And during that, we're going to walk forward to near the water's edge as a positioning. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to target the 2 bombings on the left and in the middle. From left to right, you want to do them in that order specifically. It does kind of matter. And then while they're coming back to me, I want to try to target the bombling on the left. So I'll just basically be pressing ZL over and over again to get through the targets until I get that guy, and I'll hold that. What that's going to do is those bomblings are going to come back to me. One of them is going to land on my left, and the other one is going to be the one that Link's going to hold, essentially, because you can only hold one at a time. One is just going to be on the ground, and one you're going to hold. Then I'm going to pull out the boomerang. Before I move, I'm going to pull out the boomerang, right, and continue holding it and ZL, okay? And so what this is going to do is it's going to drop the bomb, okay, that I'm holding. So the 2 bombs will be next to each other in the middle, and they will be sitting there for second phase. And so that I don't capture them in what I'm trying to do here, I'm going to walk over to the right while I'm still holding ZL and boomerang. I'm then going to cycle through ZL once again while still holding boomerang so that I can target the boba head, the remaining one. And then I am going to let go of boomerang once I'm far enough to the right and have targeted both things in the correct order. The boomerang is going to get the bombling, and then it's going to kill the boba head. And that's going to take me to the second phase. Now, what I did earlier with the bomblings is position them in such a way that basically they're going to be sitting there ready, 2 bomblings, which is the exact number we need, actually, to get through the second phase. And so the cutscene's also going to put Link right next to them, and they will be right to his left, which is where the boomerang is going to pick them up. So something interesting about bomb fuses, cutscenes will stall bomb fuses. So if you're in the middle of that cutscene, the bombs are not going to explode. And so this allows us to take them into the second phase. Another thing is that when you throw the bombs with a boomerang, it will reset their fuse. And we're going to use this a few times to keep the bombs from exploding when we don't want them to. So immediately during the start of the second phase, we're going to hold ZL, and then we're going to hold back on the control stick and press Y. Okay? Whatever your boomerang button is, really. And what this is going to do is this is going to allow us to start walking backwards, which is where we want to go. It's going to pick up the bombs and is going to target the main head. So it basically makes it so that bombs can get back to us nicely because they're not going to explode on the head because we're too close. That's pretty much the gist of it. Really, it's because the bombs are going to be too low in the boomerang because we're right next to them when we're targeting them. Or when we're targeting the head. We don't actually target the bombs in this specific instance. And then while it's doing that, while the bombs are going up to the head and then coming back to us, we want to walk back to the 4th plank, the right side of it. And then we will hold Z target so that we're targeting the main head. Okay? And what this is going to do, again, when the bombs get back to us, one is going to land on our left and we're going to be holding the other one. Now what we can do is conveniently space these out. We're going to continue holding ZL and press A to throw it towards the guy. Right? Now the bombs will both be in a line. Basically, there's going to be the far back bomb, and then the next bomb, and then the head. And so we can do a backflip then, target the close bomb, and then target the head. And what's going to happen is the boomerang is going to pick up the close bomb in the top of the boomerang, the far bomb in the bottom of the boomerang, the top bomb is going to hit the head, and the other one isn't going to explode, and it's going to come back to us. Now, during this, we don't want to move, okay? We want to not really target, we want to look over towards the right. And then as soon as the bomb gets back to us, we want to throw it again so that we can reset the fuse while we're taking down the first cycle. Okay? And it is very important that as soon as you throw the bomb, you start walking towards and pull out the sword, and then do a jump spin exactly in that order. Right? And that's going to knock down the first phase, or the first cycle, I mean, while the boomerang is coming back to us, and it will not explode in the spin if you do this correctly. As soon as the bomb gets back to you, you can just look up and target his head. You can either target it or just kind of, throw the boomerang in that general direction, and the bomb should hit his face again, and then you just do the second cycle, and he's dead. Okay? And so that's basically the entire explanation of the theory of that. I'm gonna go ahead and try to go through it. Hopefully I don't mess it up. It's not hard, but you just gotta get used to the movements. I know that sounded really complicated, but anyways, here we go. So I'm gonna target the middle one and the left head. Walk forward to this middle spot, basically. Then I'm gonna target the bombs from left to right. And I'm going to target this right bomb one. Hold that. Okay. And see how I did that? Basically, I was holding left and ZL. And then, as soon as I was starting to move left, I basically cycled through ZL again. And then as soon as I got both of them and I was far right enough, I let go of the boomerang. And it got that head down. Now we're in the second phase with these two bombs right here. So I'm going to walk backwards. I'm holding ZL and down. And I'm going to immediately throw the boomerang. And then walk back to this fourth plank on the right side here, turn around, throw the bomb, target this head automatically. You don't actually have to aim at it, you want to just see target. And as soon as this is over here, I'm aiming right, throwing, doing a jump spin, and then throwing the boomerang at his head with the bomb. And I'm going to walk back here, actually, just so that I can continue holding target and do a jump spin. And it should kill. Unfortunately, I kind of messed up. My positioning was wrong. I was actually standing a little too far to the left there. You want to stand a little further back, a little more to the right. But basically, that's weakness. And I didn't want to explain that. I tried to explain a little while I was doing it. I didn't really want to explain the whole thing while doing it because there's too much to talk about, and it goes by way too fast. Anyways, that's Ookless. That saves about 40 to 50 seconds over waiting for Ook. Pretty much everybody should learn it. It's really not that hard. You can learn it within an hour. It's, I don't know, you basically just need to get used to the inputs. And with save tools, you could probably learn it in faster than an hour and be consistent at it within an hour. The only reason it took me longer is because I was starting from, like, my own save, which was doing the entirety of this second, basically, from the save warp after Boomerang until this part. And that just took forever. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and skip this heart container. You don't have to. And if you're just starting out, it's probably a good idea to get this heart container. Anyways. Go ahead and say no to the save prompt, skip this cutscene. I'm gonna side hop just to get a little closer this way. You don't actually skip them in the text. Probably not really even faster, it's just fun to do. Oh, I should talk about the easier strat. Okay. Yeah, so I believe the easier strat. I don't really know it by heart, but how it's supposed to go. There's a couple things that can make this actually a little faster. One thing you can do is to basically ignore all I said in the first phase and just get the heads down as fast as possible. And then when you go into the second phase, you want to get the heads to attack you twice as fast as possible. Uka's going to come out. You want to target the bomb and then bring it back to you, right? Without having it hit anything. Leave it on the ground. Have Ook come back out with another bomb, basically. Or rather, his timer will start faster, pretty much. And then you go ahead and hit the head. I'm not sure exactly on the details on this. I'm sure somebody knows. And then, essentially, you'll be able to get the 2 Ook hits faster. And I know you throw the boomerang at the head while he's rearing back to spit poison at you. You can do that if you mess up the Ookless strat too. It just makes it so that he's done with that a little faster so that the heads attack you side to side if you mess it up and only get the 1. Anyways. Okay, Bruggle wants to explain. I'll sit here and wait. Honestly. But I'm pretty sure that is a strat. There is a strat in which basically you just get the bomb to you and Ook will come out with a second bomb faster. But let's see if Bruggle has something else to say. Well, we'll wait. I'm sure he'll have something intelligent to say here. You know, in the meantime, I should probably start walking out this way, just because there's a lot of rolling. I'm just gonna roll out this way towards, this, what am I saying? Roll out towards Hyrule Field. Because we need to go to Elden... We basically just have to roll to the Twilight Wall. We're gonna roll out this way. I don't normally myself do Mailman Skip, because you have to do it twice, and it saves only about 3 seconds, but I'm just gonna show how to do it. Hopefully I don't mess it up. If I mess it up, you pretty much do it similarly to what I'm gonna show. Oh, I might get hit by the Goblin and mess it up. I don't know. Anyways, I'll at least show you where to stand and where to aim the boomerang, even if I don't get it. So we're gonna roll along this wall. Reason being, the Mailman trigger's an oval, so along the wall we can get closer. Okay, I'm gonna roll to this green splotch right here, and then this isn't the right green splotch, I don't think. No, it's this green splotch. I'm gonna roll to this green splotch. I'm gonna go ahead. See, I don't know this trick very well. Yeah, since I was taking so long, that Bug Goblin got to me, and obviously this wastes time. But basically, here. What you want to be doing is you want to stand, like, right here, okay? And then you aim, like, right next to this wall, and then as soon as the boomerang's out of bounds, you jump. The trigger for the Mailman ends, like, a little before this, so you just jump over the trigger. Of course, I messed it up, but whatever. That's how you would do it. There's a reason I don't go for it, because I'm bad and slow, and it doesn't even save that much time. And you have to do it twice. Okay, so that's a little different compared to what I said, but I got the gist of that right. I guess I'll read what you're saying just so that I get it documented. Again, if you really want to know how to do this, ask somebody specifically, just for the slightly faster method. I can't skip this minute text by jump attacking, by the way, which is why I didn't. But what Bruggle is saying is essentially, you kill the 2 first heads, right, like I was saying, and then you get Ook to come out as fast as possible. You want to get the Deku Baba heads to attack you twice as fast as possible. Then once he comes out, you want to target the boomerang, or the bomb, basically, so that you can get it to you. And then you throw it forward. So you target Diababa head, the main Diababa head, and you just throw it, right? You don't actually throw it with the boomerang, you just throw it forward, right? And then you, basically, since you threw it forward, it's now in front of you enough where you can get in the top of the boomerang. So you can target it and then the Diababa head, and it will hit the Diababa head. And essentially, while all of this is happening, Ook is, like, his timer is running and it'll come out faster. What Bruggle was saying, I guess, so I was a little wrong. The timer is going because the bomb is on the ground. The Ook timer is going. The game thinks... because it expects everybody to try to just get the boomerang to hit the bomb and then the Diababa head. It expects that if the bomb is on the ground, that you messed up, and it will get Ook to come out sooner, essentially. So it'll start the timer. So when we throw it forward, the timer starts, right? And then while we're killing the first cycle, Ook's timer is going, which is going to save a bunch of time. So, but then we do what I was saying to essentially hit the Diababa head. And then, after we kill the first cycle, Ook is much faster going to come out. And then we can just target that and then the head and be done with the whole thing. I believe that's pretty much the gist of what he's saying. But, that is another method. It is slower than the method I talked about. I would not suggest learning that because it's still complicated and Ookless is really not that hard. But it saves some time, so, anyways. Yeah, so now we're gonna go over here. What we're trying to do is get to this portal as fast as possible, just regress. I go over to the right there so that I can dash immediately without worrying about smelling the sword. And then we're going to try to get all of these 3 guys in the middle charge. You do not want to be holding ZL and A here. I am holding ZL and B just for a little swag strat. It doesn't really matter. Really, you should just hold nothing. But if you hold ZL and A, then you will do Gorge Void, which means you have to run all the way back over here, which is a waste of time. I'm warping to South Faron. The bridge is in North Faron. I'm going to South Faron because I want to use this wolf, and this is a convenient time to do this, to basically easily get into Lanayru and do part of that Twilight, basically to save some movement time. It's about 30 seconds faster to do this than to go through the normal route. Just because the normal route through Lanayru Twilight, like if you did it in a glitchless manner, basically, would walk through like a bunch of different loading zones and across a bunch of fields. And so it's faster to just warp back here, go over to the gate, and clip in, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to do this in a little slower of a fashion, just so I can explain it a little better. I'm going to do it in a slower fashion than I normally do. But we're going to go over to this gate that's over here, and one of the rules of TP is that gates don't exist. Basically means that pretty much any gate can be clipped through in some form or fashion. But anyways, so we're going to go over here. And then I'm going to show one method of killing these guys relatively fast. Like that, basically. You don't actually have to kill these guys. If you stun them, if you like spin attack them, and then run up to the gate and do the gate clip, you don't actually have to kill them. It saves a little time to just do that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run up to basically the middle of this. Really, ideally, the position is like here from my setup. So I run to like a little left of the center here. I'm going to turn the camera so that, okay, you see how there's the gate part and then like the side of the main gate part and then the pillars on the edge. So I want to make it so that the main part of the gate is just off, but the side of the gate is still on, right? So again, I'm going to target about here, and then I'm going to walk back, hold left and B attack, and then side hop a few times. And my angle might be a little bad. Alright, there we go. Sometimes it takes a couple times. I'm pretty sure it's a little timing dependent. I'm not entirely sure on that though. I'm going to clip back through just to show it again. Okay, so I'm going to run around, run up, do a spin attack, kill these guys, run up here. I'm a little further to the right this time, so I'm going to target a little further right, and side hop twice to get through. Now, you can basically adjust the angle pretty much based on where you're standing. If you're further right, you want to target further right. If you're further left, you want to target further left. You do want to skip this cutscene before you press A to go through the text. Because if you go through the text, then, well, you'll have to watch the entire cutscene, and nobody wants to do that. Okay. Now that we've done all that, we can go ahead and talk to Fire, and that is going to make it so that we can do the Kargarok flight after we kill the Bulbin Archer. And I gotta check something real quick. Okay, good, I am recording this. I just wanted to make sure I was actually recording and not just streaming in case I drop a bunch of frames or disconnect. Okay, so I'm gonna go over straight over here. This guy's gonna shoot at me a few times. And then I'm gonna do a sort of setup to be able to attack this guy twice in a row, rather than having to wait for him to do 2 cycles worth of this. So I'm gonna be standing on this hill in such a way that I can backflip uphill, right? Whenever he gets over to me, I'm gonna wait a little longer so that he's a little lower, do a backflip, and then jump attack at him again. What that's gonna do is gonna make so that you don't have to like actually wait for him twice, skip a cycle, and it saves like 15 seconds, I think. And it's really easy too. But the reason you have to do it on the hill is because you need to gain height for that to work. If you're standing on flat ground, it won't work. Another thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna dash 5 times. This is more of an advanced strat. It's not that hard though. It saves about 6 seconds. And then as soon as I get under this thing, I'm gonna start holding up. And I'm gonna get the angles so that I'm about here, wait a second, and then start holding up and left. Or maybe it's down. I guess it's down. Whatever I was holding in the input display. Sometimes I don't actually know the inputs by heart. I just have them memorized in muscle memory, and I'm gonna clip out of bounds. The other thing you can do is just kind of like work your way through the normal movement, but this is just a lot easier, frankly. Or, well, I don't know. It's probably the same difficulty, frankly, but if you mess that up, you lose about 30 seconds, and it saves only about 6. But I'd say it's probably like a 90+% trick in terms of consistency. Really should be more than that. I'm just a little bad. Anyways, you want to stay out of bounds here. And then once you get to around here, you just clip back in bounds. If you hit the wall, it's not a big deal. Because you won't fall unless you hit the wall twice. So, anyways. Then I can just go up here. And that's a 6-second faster flight. Alright, so I'm gonna buffer a jump attack after skipping 2 cutscenes. Unfortunately, I pressed pause 1 extra time. And that's going to skip some meta text. But again, you just buffer that in the same way as normal. And skip this cutscene. How's it going? It's going. You do have to wait for these stalactites. You don't technically have to wait for the first one, it's just faster for you. And I'm gonna hold ZL back there so that I don't fall off. Or like start to fall off and have to climb back up. And you keep going. Pretty easy. Once I go in here, one thing I do to save a little time, to get these guys into a good position, I'm gonna run straight up the middle. Unfortunately, that didn't get them into a great position. But normally that makes it so that when I run back, neither of them is gonna be very close to the wall, or much closer to the other. So I won't bonk. I won't have to worry about bonking. But I get the back guy and then go get the 2 front guys. But to do that, you do have to jump in between them if you want to set it up the way I do, not to the side. So now I'm gonna warp to North Faron. I am using the touch screen to warp because it is a bit faster. Of course, I forgot where I was supposed to warp there for a second. It's not usually sunset here, so this is a little weird. I took an extra bit of time to explain gate clips, so that wasted some daytime. Hopefully that's not going to mess anything up with the Kakariko timing after Snow Peak later. I don't think it should. In fact, I know it shouldn't because that's after Arbiter's Ground, so it doesn't really matter. It might mess up the timing of Hyrule Castle, though, after Lunar Twilight. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to store a jump attack here and jump out of some Luna text. You can dash forward and dig under the gate. I believe it's technically possible to do a similar gate clip as Wolf through this, but it's a bit harder because of the lock on this side. Although I'm not actually really sure about that. Okay, that was another opportunity for me to get a 1-frame trick where you dash immediately out of a dig. But you basically... Well, anyways. You just gotta try for it, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. It's whatever. You can probably time it and get a bit of better consistency. Anyways. And you want to get these guys in this order, just because... Don't want to be... Well, they're too far apart to get all of them in one go. You definitely... want to get the last 2 together, otherwise you won't actually go. I can explain the input display skin thing. I guess that's not really like a tutorial thing, though. I'll explain that later, because it's not really relevant. Oops. So that's what happens if you don't hold CL and A to do the insta-min jump. Alright, so I'm gonna hold senses. You do have to turn on senses for this cutscene to start, and skip the cutscene. And then I'm going to go ahead and light this candle and just light these four. Kind of just adjust the camera along the way so that I'll, just by walking forward, I'll jump into the candles. And then I'm gonna try to hold the direction so that I jump directly into the hole here, which I did hold a good direction. So basically, based on the input display, you can just hold that direction. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here and attack both of these guys. And then I could have jump attacked the other guy. But as soon as I have all those three, then I can just go ahead and jump out of here. Actually, I think what I just did might be faster than what I normally do there. I should keep that in mind. The way that I did that was actually somewhat fast, because the tiers ended up not being spread out at all. It's good to know. Anyways. Alright, so now that I have those, I just warp back out here, because it's faster than going through Graveyard and through several loading zones. And I can just go into this house. So he's basically, you want to walk back in such a way that he's gonna jump up there. You want to be standing kind of. Okay, so you like throw it. Okay, how do I put this? So based on where I'm facing right now, if you light the torch, you want to throw the torch after you light the chimney, basically, and then run back down to the right from this perspective. It's going to be down and to the left from probably where you're going to have the camera facing. But not too much. If you go too much to the left, then the bug is going to go down to the ground. If you don't move it at all, the bug is also going to go down to the ground. And if you go too much straight down, I believe the bug will fall off. He'll like walk off the edge whenever you get up here. But anyways, now we can just wait for this here and get out of here. But that's just a minor optimization. I mean, if you have him go to the ground, it's not that much slower. It's just a few seconds. So I talked about dash canceling earlier. Here's a use of it. Basically, by dash canceling and then doing a V attack, and then dash canceling essentially off of the edge there, we can make it so that we can dash twice directly in a row across the rooftops. It is definitely faster than just immediately dashing. Another thing here, small movement optimization. If you kind of walk up to this part here, you can jump onto the roof directly rather than climbing and then into the window. Kind of messed that up a little. You can do that from further away than I did, but I just tried to do it from too far away, I think. Another thing to note, I haven't really mentioned this, but like if you go out of a building before you like light up blue as Wolf, you don't actually get the tier. Like you can get it during the loading zone, but if you go too fast, then sometimes you won't even get it during the loading zone. If you do that, then you don't get the tier at all, and you have to go all the way back in and waste like 20 seconds, and it's a total disappointment. Anyways, yeah, basically you know you have the tier once Wolf Link is blue. That's all I have to say. I didn't realize you could go up there. You can kind of LJ on this guy 2 or 3 times because he's on higher ground than you. It's a little faster than running up that way. We just want to do that. Thank you for the raid, Lolly. Lolly cry. Lol, I cry. This is going on YouTube. I probably shouldn't say Lolly. Anyways. What was I saying? Whatever. I just run over here and I'm gonna jump attack up on here. Saves a little time. You want to dash with good enough spacing where you'll get the jump off of there. If you, like, bonk on the way back or get a bad jump off of the area where I jumped attack onto, then you'll, like, not have the right timing for that if you just spam. Anyways, whatever. Doesn't really matter all that much. You want to make sure you jump over that fence there rather than having to go around. What I just did there was a quick climb. There are like a couple ledges in this game where if you like are walking up and like kind of clipping into the wall, you'll climb up faster. There's only a few of them that are consistent and safe though. This is one of them really. There's a couple that you can do, but you can like flip out of bounds completely. I'm a little mad about that, by the way. You can clip out of bounds completely and then just void, and you don't want to do that. So, apparently I was too far away when I tried to jump attack, but that is what you want to do. You want to jump attack this guy before he goes to the ground. This is not a very fun backup to have to do. Okay, eventually you can get him out of the ground though, and then just like get him. You probably have them into charge. Don't do this. Ideally you attack him and then you'll get the cheer while climbing up right that. Oh, right there. Like that right there. There we go. But anyways, yeah, you can get him before he goes into the ground is basically what I'm saying, and that's what you should be trying to do. I'm gonna try to dash cancel a little here, get the second one. I'm gonna kill this guy, run a little to the right to try to distract those guys, and get this guy. We're gonna be trying to do this fast so that we can get early cycle on the wind jet right there that you can see that I'm looking at. You do have to wait if you're like really slow, so don't be slow. So I did get that. If you're a little slower than that, you won't get it. But if you're, you know, in like a specific range of times, you're gonna get the same cycle anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, there are a few ways to get this bug. I just jump attack, or de-attacked him 2 or 3 times, pretty much. I won't miss anything important, but thank you for the good luck, Lolly. Lol, I cry. Is his actual name. I just call him Lolly. Or it's his Twitch name, it's not his actual name. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, so now I just gotta roll over here. We gotta get hit by the Gorons so that we can come back over here and get Epona. We need to progress. So anyways, we roll over here and then go up here. If this was a tutorial on how to run. Oh, yeah, I don't know how to run that in time. Good game though. Anyways, I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna go ahead and equip the milk because I'm gonna need it for a trick in a second here. So once I get up here, I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna target, and I'm gonna backflip, and in the air, I'm gonna pull up the sword and do a spin. So I do a backflip quick spin while pulling out the sword. It's a little faster than pulling out the sword, and safer really than pulling out the sword before you do the backflip quick spin. And that saves a bit of time because we can flip off. You do need Epona to get iron boots, that's true. But you also need Epona to do the trick that I'm going to do in a bit anyways, so there's multiple reasons you want to get Epona here. Also, you can't really get out of Kakariko until you get Epona, unless you have the Master Sword. But yes, Ordon will not be in the right state for you to get iron boots until you tame Epona, which is this, or if you never lost Epona. So SD basically does a trick where the tamed Epona flag is already set. I believe it's set by bit, I guess. And so that means that you can just ride Epona whenever, and that'll make it so that Bo will give you the iron boots, he'll challenge you to sumo. This is a scripted cutscene, you can just memorize the inputs here. Or you can just look at it. I mean, either way, it's like super easy quick time events. What changed with the route? Well, nothing really changed until after Linear Twilight, but basically we don't do the gauntlet anymore. My old tutorial was made in like July. You do want to space these spurs out a bit here, so that you don't have to recharge, and you'll have one for after the gate. Anyways. Yeah, so you'll notice I'm not going back to Kakariko. It's because I'm going to get Iron Boots later. I don't want to fight King Golden 1, which if you come back with Iron Boots through the front entrance of Kakariko... Oh, I should have explained the mailman skip here, actually. I'll go ahead and do that. I didn't get the mailman because he wasn't here, obviously. I don't normally go for this, but anyways. Okay. Sure. So, like, pretty much as soon as you get to this corner that I'm looking at, you want to backflip off. That was a bad angle. Normally you want the opponent to go more this way. You kind of, like, walk over here to about where I'm standing. Target that little ledge. And once the boomerang's over it, you just jump over the mailman trigger and get on the opponent and go. Obviously, if you got the mailman the first time, you won't get him here. So there's no point in skipping him here if you messed up the first skip. Well, it's okay. I've messed up getting up on in a run before. It was really funny, actually. Anyways, I'm gonna go over here, and then we're gonna explain the next trick. You'll notice there are rocks there that normally make it so that you have to do ground climbs before you progress to Linear Twilight. But I'm just gonna walk over to this corner. Wow, are there really no birds? Okay, well anyways, I can just kind of walk off, and then as soon as I walk off, I can press the milk button, and then now I'm at the bottom here. And just kind of walk around this wall. It ends about here where I'm turning right. And then I just want to line up Link's head pretty much with the Twilight Wall. Like a little to the right of it, honestly. And then you just kind of run over that way. And this is an air trigger, so even though you're really low, this will trigger, and you can just go in here. And you skip the bombs. There is a bat here that you'll notice in this cutscene Link is looking at whenever you transform. That's how you really know it's there. And if you jump attack, you'll get an enemy long jump attack. And that's going to make it so that you can jump out of this mid-text. You do have to map warp here. The game actually has a thing where it's hard-coded, where you're not able to like talk to Midnight Warp right there, or really anywhere in Linear Twilight outside of the area in Zora's Domain. No, that's not what I meant to do. Wow. I was trying to show off a swag strat. Really, you just need to run around and wait for this meteor. What was I saying? I think I was talking about the, Here, I'll talk whenever I'm on the warp screen. Okay. I was talking about... Right. So, all of Linear Twilight basically has this thing where if you try to talk to Midna and warp that way, like by pressing L and then talking to Midna and asking to warp, it won't let you unless you're specifically in the, like, actual Zora's Domain proper, where the portal is. Thank you for the big game starter. And you've cleared that portal, pretty much. Otherwise, you can only map warp. I don't know how they managed to overlook this, but you have to basically press up on the map and then press L to map warp. But anyways, now that I have the meteor, I'm gonna go ahead and warp back. This is why we complete Elden Twilight, by the way. Also because I guess we couldn't get to Linear Twilight otherwise. So there's a little trick you can do right there. You can store a jump attack to kind of jump over that text. The problem is you have to skip it twice, because during this cutscene you're going to walk back into it. And the whole movement of like trying to run around that is actually slower than just getting the text itself. From my knowledge, at least. Or at least it's very close, so it's not really worth doing. Anyways. It does give you a nice, funny little graphical glitch, though, where Lake Hylia appears to be empty on the map. If you skip that text that I was talking about. So we can go ahead and go down here. And it's going to put us right in front of the vessel, and we can go ahead and grab that. So now that we have the vessel, we can go ahead and get the bugs. Yay. Some of the bugs are present, actually, before you get the vessel. But only in, like, certain states. And it's not really worth getting any of them before the vessel, so... that's another bug where you should try to jump attack them from far away. I got kind of lucky. I went a little too early, but it still worked. So, again, we just get one of these guys and go get the other two. You want to make sure that the lines between them is not going to go through like a wall. So, that's why I baited them in that specific manner. The camera is kind of weird there. You can just start running off to the right early though. Go ahead and grab this bug. And as soon as Wolf lights up blue, you can go ahead and warp. Curious how the big one will go? Are you talking about the big boss bug? There are some strats for that. We'll get to that. I'm gonna jump attack this wall, walk a little over to the left, and start targeting this guy. Or over to the right, I mean. And if I walk over there, I can manipulate him so that he goes straight to the wall rather than over the water, which is always a good thing. If he goes, okay, let me explain this. If he goes over the water, then like you'll get pushed away by the water and won't be able to get the tier very easily. Whereas if he goes over to the left there, towards the wall, then you'll be able to get the tier pretty quickly every time. The thing I was going to say, I believe... Oh, right. So for that flying bug, you don't want to let go of midnight charts until he stops moving. Because if you do, then he'll probably keep moving and you'll miss him. So definitely wait until he stops moving, and then, like, right then, you want to let go of him. Okay, so I'm going to jump down here. There's a few ways to get this bug. This is the way I do it. You want to... You just want to jump attack at him. You kind of climb up the lily pad while getting the tier if you can. This is a little time. Sometimes that jump attack just won't reach, though. You just gotta kind of learn which jump attacks are going to work and which ones are too far. And if you need to, like, wait or jump on a different lily pad. There's a bunch of things you can do for that bug. It's just kind of silly. Anyways. But again, with pretty much most digging bugs, like the one I just got, you can get them before they go in the ground. There's only, like, the two, I think, that you actually have to dig out in Far and Twilight. And they're together. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and swim over to Isa, and she's gonna reveal a bug. If I can actually talk to her. And you can just auto-target and kill it. Okay, so you can climb this ledge up to, like, about, to work, around here on the wall. Of course, I'm not climbing. For whatever reason. Hello. Oh my god. Thank you. That's where you... That's like the last spot you can climb at. That's where you want to aim at. I was just trying to, like, show exactly where... Whatever. It doesn't matter. But that's faster than swimming for, like, an hour. To try to go up current. It's faster to get up on land, basically. This is such a half-assed tutorial. I'm like only getting half the stuff. But at least I'm saying what you're supposed to do. So it counts as a tutorial. there's a portal here. I forgot. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, followers are cool. Followers are followers. I don't really care. I mean, like, people are watching me. People are watching me. Nice. So you can just hold B out of that cutscene to get that close one, and then go get the other two. Kind of like distract the one that's far away, get the other one, and then they both come together because they both get distracted. There's a little fun swag strat you can do if you have really good timing, where you can get Wolflink to, like, jump backwards after you get into the loading zone, but you still go through the loading zone. It's kind of funny. Like, you, like, kind of slide and then go back. Anyways, doesn't matter. What I'm doing right now is I'm dash canceling through here. So I'm canceling a dash with a B attack so that I can dash cancel again really fast. This is definitely faster because the movement in this area is slow as Wolflink. Okay, so you want to get between this guy and the corner to get him off as fast as possible. So usually how you want to do is you want to get in the corner and then you want to work your way between him and the wall, and that'll get him to run off the little platform there. Okay, so now I'm gonna... We came over here basically because we want to do the cargo rocket flight to get the bugs. And also, I don't know if they did this intentionally, but we're going to do something cool to just be able to get the other bug quickly before boss bug. And set up for boss bug quite nicely. You want to wait until you can target these guys before you dash at them. You can eyeball it, it's just hard. Like, you can kind of just adjust how you're flying without targeting to be able to get to them. Well, thank you for the follow. Uranic Snow. It's an interesting name. Again, kill the bugs. You just gotta wait until you can target them. And then I'm gonna go ahead and crash into the wall and say no. And this actually puts me right next to the other bug, which props to the developers if they actually intended this. Might just be a coincidence thing though. So I can just... Where is this? There he is. Usually you can just turn around and hit him, but I had bad luck there. Oh, I said it right, nice. So I'm gonna go over to Boss Bug here, and you gotta skip the cutscene, turn on senses, and then skip the cutscene again. Okay, normally he's over here already. This is very odd. Okay, so then I'm gonna basically hit this guy. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna stand over here, so that I can manipulate him to go and start attacking me from a certain angle. What I'm gonna do is as soon as he starts coming at me, I'm gonna backflip twice, basically. And then once he gets close to me, I'm gonna jump attack at him. And once he gets a little off the ground, I'm gonna jump attack him again. Right? And so what that's gonna do is it's gonna make him so that he's vulnerable, right? And then makes it so that he doesn't fly in the air this time. I'm gonna try to do that again. I unfortunately was a little late on that one. This is not a particularly easy fight. But once you get all three of those hits, you can run over, jump out of this guy, or have to climb because you're slow. And you want to get behind this leg with Ninja Charge, right? So if I'm standing like right about here, then I will bonk into the leg. And by bonking into the leg, you cancel the animation of jumping around and killing all the legs, right? And so it makes it so that you kill the guy a bit faster. Anyways. I hope I explained most of the strats very well, even if I didn't get them the entire time. I only missed one. I got it once as well, so, like, it works the same way on the second and third cycles. Alright, so now we need 10 rupees early in the run, basically, so that we can use fire to go up here. And we're just gonna spend some time rolling over. If you don't have 10 rupees, there is a 20 rupee above fire on that platform. I'm looking at it right now. There's the rupee. So you can always boomerang that down if you don't have enough. Nice bonk. Don't really run a bonk into that. You go into the cannon, it'll take you up here. We're basically doing this to start Zora Escort. We're just going back up that way. Can't warp up because we don't have Master Sword. But you can do like a nice side hop there to get over the ledge. And if you're lucky, you'll like roll towards the door too, off of the side hop, which is kind of nice. You can also jump attack over that fence, but you definitely don't want to climb down the ladder. Climbing down the ladder is super slow. Now we can go over and get a Kona, and we're going to go straight to Zora Escort by going to Telma's Bar. We used to have to do something here because we couldn't skip KB2 before, or King Bolden 2. He's the guy on the bridge that you have to kill with arrows. We used to have to get either bow, which we used Goron Mines for, or later bombs, which we used opponent blood for, and there was a set of like 3 very hard tricks that we do right about now. The start would be the exact same up to this point. So like the other tutorial was actually completely correct up to this point. Completely up to date, but I do have eyetracker, which is nice. Now we can just skip all of that. Basically because in that area before, like during Zora Escort, in the area before you go on the bridge to do the fight, if you void out there, it'll just put you on the other side. Not exactly sure why, but it does. And we figured out a way to void that doesn't involve getting either bombs or like some ridiculous setup and getting a bunch of skills, which wasn't even possible anyways. So, you could use bombs, but it would be really hard and not save any time over the old route anyways. Okay, so you do want to not talk to a bunch of people here, which is why I'm not pressing A at certain intervals, because there's people I can talk to. Go ahead and skip this cutscene. Okay, so I'm gonna dash all of my spirits except for one, and then it's 3 times, just as a way to space out my speed well, to make this setup a little faster. This way I should slow down like right as I hit the wall. So I'm walking so that I end up in this corner like this, okay? So now I'm gonna like straighten out my angle. So that, okay, so I'm parallel with the wall right now, right? Now I'm gonna look for this Q on the ground by walking forward. I see it right, it's right there, okay. So where I'm looking right now, okay, we see right below opponent's right hoof, there's a little black splotch there that looks kind of like a split yin-yang symbol. And this is actually perfect because you'll see the shadow of the opponent's hoof goes right over that yin-yang symbol. So this is pretty much perfect positioning. So opponent's like a little far away from the wall, but close enough to push you into this corner. And now you can just side hop in between the wall and go out of bounds. But again, what I do is I ride into that corner, I straighten out. You want to be pretty close to the wall, so if you're not very close to the wall, like laterally speaking, you want to back up and then readjust so that you are close to the wall. And then you just walk forward until you're pretty much right in front of that splotch. You can kind of just get a feel for how far forward you should be. But then once you have that, you can just side hop in between the opponent and the wall and just walk towards that corner, and you will just fall out of bounds pretty much every time, so long as your positioning isn't horrible. If you're too far back, or too far away from the wall, then you won't, you won't actually flip out, you'll just climb up the ledge there, which is not really what you want to do. And then, if you're too far forward, then you'll either be too far to the side, or you will be unable to actually get between opponent and the wall, in which case the trick just doesn't work at all. Not exactly what I want to do. This is not exactly an ideal escort. But I'm gonna try to kill 2 of these boars over here. I did, actually. Nice. And then I'm gonna dash so that I arrive at this tree right there that I'm looking at. About the same time as the wagon. So that I can kill this tiger. Now I can just leave the wagon behind. Because there's a trigger that normally pushes you back, like, right before Kakariko Village. But we can just jump over that, so that doesn't work. So I do want to be trying to get some rupees along the way, so you do want to go through some grass spots. You know, I don't think I explained something. So I'm holding ZR right now, right before I paused. And then now I'm going to press A and then press start, right? And so what that's going to do is going to make me slide. Because I'm like dismounting at the same time as I'm backflipping pretty much. Right, okay, so I stand about here, where this brown splotch that I'm looking at is. And then I just aim around there, and once it goes out of bounds, I can just LJ over the trigger. Anyways, but yeah, opponent sliding is nice because you maintain your speed in areas where opponent either can't go to or where you want to not have to backflip off to be able to dismount quickly. So like there was the latter case, really. Anyways, so I rolled left there, actually away from the graveyard, so that she would warp me closer. There's a cutscene here because we didn't clear it in Elder Twilight. It has nothing to do with Tella. You do actually have to go to the right around this particular stone that I was going around, because otherwise she'll like call you back basically. So you don't want to go too much to the left. And then another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up to this middle, this black area right here, and then start going backwards. Same sort of thing. She's gonna pull me forwards. It's very slightly faster, I think. Not all that much faster. But then I can go ahead and get the Zora armor. So you do not want to save warp to try to get back out to CAC here. It actually won't put you there, it'll put you outside Telma's bar. So you have to go through this area normally. So yeah, we're going in and equipping Zora armor because we're going to need it on at some point. I just always equip it during this segment, just because there's not really a convenient time to do it after, though. I mean, technically you could do it whenever, it's just, when you're crawling through the tunnel, you're not, like, losing time off of not rolling quickly, basically. So it's just a good time to do that. Another good time would be when you're on the horse, I guess. I don't know. Either way, it works, so. Alright, so you don't want to go too far to the left here towards this gate, because there's an invisible wall there. So don't go too much to the left. Not doing a very good job of spacing my dashes. You do want to space them up, kind of like this pace. So pretty sure that's the fastest way to run with opponent. The gallop, I guess. I don't know what gate this would be. This would be sprint, maybe? Whatever. So the reason we're doing this now, and not earlier, is because, well, frankly, it's just more convenient to go this way, because it's on the way to go to Lakebed. After getting Zora armor. And also, if you get it before you have to go through CAC again, before you get Master Sword, if you go through that gate at the front of CAC, with iron boots, and aren't like super careful about it, then you'll activate King Bulbin 1, and it's just a pain in the butt. You don't want to deal with that. It's like a waste of time. So we're doing this now. Yeah, you can time A presses. You don't have to mash. I just mash because I'm lazy. I'm doing a slide here because you actually walk up to the bow a bit faster than you would go on the horse. So you can just kind of slide into the cutscene trigger. Alright, so it's about time to play rock, paper, scissors. If I can get the analogy right, I guess it would be slap, lunge, dodge, pretty much. In other words, B, A, and sidestep. So you do have to say no here. You have to manually press down on the control stick to say no, otherwise he tells you a tutorial thing. We're gonna try to slap, because if we can slap and then mash A really fast, we can get him off in one cycle. Otherwise, the most consistent thing to do is to press A. So I was too slow there on my mashing, so I had to do that twice. But even if you are too slow on the mashing and you get the slap, you still have pretty much 2 in 3 odds that he won't sidestep you. So anyway, slap beats dodge, right? Or standing still. Lunge beats slap, and dodge beats A press, as you can clearly see by this bow. Oh, come on, please go off the ledge. Thank you. Alright, good. Pretty much, you know, on average you lose like 15 seconds to shenanigans. That was a little longer than that, probably like 25. But if you're really lucky, then you can get really fast, like literally 2 1 cycles in a row if you get perfect RNG. But it is RNG. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the light on. It's getting kind of dark. Go ahead and go over to Epona. And now you have to head to Lake Hylia. So the fastest way to do that is just going to be right out to the west towards Lake Hylia, obviously. Okay, I am not going to be showing off one specific gold shoe strat in case I don't. I mean, even if I do get it, I probably won't show off the gold shoe strats because you can just look those up. I'm not gonna like RNG abuse to get a gold shoe. Is what I'm saying. There is a spot where you can get a shoe jelly, and that can be gold shoe, which doubles your damage and makes certain things faster. And in combination with a glitch that allows you to drink it as many times as you want, it does save a bit of time. But there is one specific trick that I am very bad at that I'm not going to show off because I'm not good at it. Did I beat Death Mountain without the boots? No, I didn't beat Death Mountain, I skipped it. Or Gore Mines, rather. I did a milk dive to skip Gore Mines. Alright, see you right next time. So basically, under this tree, there is a shot. It's about a 1 in 10 chance that a gold shoe is dropped from the spot that I'm going to look at. So it was blue this time. But it's possible that it can be gold. I believe it is about 1 in 10. It's not very likely, but it can save like 30 or 40 seconds, I think, if you get it. One thing to note about Epona slides is that you want to initiate them like before you're about to hit the thing that'll make Epona stop. Because You know, otherwise you just got a lot of wasted time from opponent not actually moving before you really start sliding. And then you and opponent are stopped. It's a waste of time. I'm gonna walk over here. Alright, so I'm gonna angle myself so that I'm basically facing the wall directly. And I'm gonna walk to the right until I'm about here. Or rather, here. You want Link's head to basically... The edge of the wall needs to be in the middle of Link's head. And then you just do a little slash while targeting. And you can use boots to fall faster there. I just forgot. Obviously, you can do that a lot faster than I just did. I was just trying to go slow to show off the strat. I hope I get the Deku Toad 2 cycle, but I might not get it. I hope I at least get one cycle correct. Like, one of the two. Basically, there's a thing with Deku Toad before you get Claw Shot, where you have to have very good timing on sword slashes twice in a row, and that will allow you to save about 30 seconds off of not having to 3-cycle them, since you only have Wardon Sword. Okay, actually, I should probably explain this rather than just going straight into the Pillar Flip. I was gonna get that, but anyways. So you wanna, once you get down to like here, you wanna take off Iron Boots and start swimming up and just keep pressing ZRNA. And then you wanna make it so that, okay, how do I put this? There's like a couple spots where the pillar intersects with the wall. You want to do it so that you're pretty much lined up with the right one of those, and then you just swim up and through. It's like actually really easy. You could pretty much just try to copy exactly what I did there. I dropped some frames, I'm sorry. This is why I'm recording it locally as well. But anyways, that's how you essentially do Pillar Clip there. So you can get out of balance and get in here without having to have bombs. Pretty major skip, actually. Otherwise you'd have to beat Goron mines, and that's just a total waste of time. Go ahead and pull down this lever, or whatever this is called. I don't know what you'd call this, actually. Handle. It's just a giant handle in the air. I have no idea. I'm gonna roll forward once out of this cutscene. And walk to about this square. I'm gonna target about there. I'm gonna just LJ twice to get on this thing. Only the first one really matters. I'm gonna target these two spots, and then jump at those specific times. I mean, I don't know how to explain it exactly. That'll let me get up onto there. If you mess up the second one, just climb up. But the first one is the one that's important. I'm gonna roll forward, target roll, skip the cutscene, target roll again. And I'm gonna target. Okay, so there's this diagonal line right here. You know how these are octagons, right? Okay, so there's this diagonal right here. I'm gonna target like that, but like a little above it. Okay? And then I'm gonna target in this corner. And if I did it right, then I'm gonna land on here, and then I'm gonna land down here when I LJ twice in a row. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the edge of this little platform here. And then I'm gonna target like there and there. And that's gonna give me the angles I need to be able to jump over here in one go. You can, of course, do those individually, but it's faster to do them at the same time. Hopefully I get this. Side hop twice on the chest, target the pillar, and then LJ over. Unfortunately, I messed it up. But I'll do it again. What you would do is you'd open the chest, right? And then you'd side hop twice. Target. Hopefully you'd side hop into a spot so that you're not targeting the wall behind you. This is actually kind of a pain. Okay, now I'm targeting. You see I'm targeting this pillar. And then I just LJ as soon as I can, pretty much. And I'll land in the water. That way I can skip a bunch of rooms. I'm grabbing this pot so that I can go through this rock without bombs. Basically, you see how there's a small gap that I'm looking at right there? So I want to clip through that, so I'm going to have the pot push me through. I'm gonna swim up, and then directly down in between the pot and the thing, if I can not fail and swim too far up. If you swim too far up, it's a pain in the ass. Don't swim too far up. Swim up to about here and then start swimming down. There we go. Okay, and then no matter how bad of a clip you get, if you hold, like, kind of this direction, then you'll clip through eventually. That was a particularly bad clip, but it worked. But yeah, again, you just want to swim down so that you have some speed when you're going between the pot and the rock. It's really actually quite easy. So I'm going to go ahead and look up and skip this cutscene. Alright, so I'm going to want to do 5 sets of 2 combos, 2 hit combos, in order to hit this guy 10 times per cycle, for a total of 20 hits to kill him. Okay, I almost messed it up because I got the 4 hit combo there, but I was fast enough on all of the rest of them that I barely had enough time to get the 4 hit. You do not want to do that 4 combo. It will usually mess you up. Okay, so what I was doing there is basically every time Link's sword was extended out to the left pretty much fully, I would start the next set of 2 combos. So what I do is I usually press B 3 times, right? Which I can't really show, but I usually press B 3 times in a row. That'll do a 2 combo, right? And then I wait until the sword is out to the side, and then I do it again. Wait, until I've done 5 doubles. I do believe it's possible to get 11 hits, but you have to be really fast. Like, maybe Task could do it, I don't know. Not sure why Task would want to, though. So again, what I'm doing here is I'm clicking the right stick when he's, like, all the way in the air to make him fall down earlier. Okay, so there you go. I got the 2 cycle. That's kind of cool. Again, it saves about 30 seconds over, you know, messing up in one of those and having to do another cycle just to get, like, 1 more hit or something. You know. Naturally, if you just do full combos, you get a 4 cycle. You don't want to do that. Nice frame drops, by the way. I'm probably only going to go through Snow Peak today, because, for one, that's a convenient point, because that's where the any percent all dungeons route split, and one other reason I don't want to stream for, like, super long, because my internet usually gets worse the further I go along, and the recording's going to be fine, but the stream is going to get worse and worse, so if I just stream the rest of tomorrow, then it'll be better. So, but anyways, we still got a few dungeons to go until then. So I don't think I really explained that very well. I was, like, rolling, kind of holding upright on the control stick, and then I just jump slash before I hit the ground, essentially. How does my internet get worse? Well, I don't know, you tell me. I mean, it consistently gets worse throughout any stream I do, actually. It starts out okay, and then it gets worse, and then it gets worse, and then eventually it's, like, unstreamable. It's really weird. I need to talk to my internet provider about it. So once I'm about, like, 5 or 6 steps up on this, I want to go ahead and target. If you target lower than halfway, you're just gonna fall straight down. But target the top half of this, and then you can climb up. No, it doesn't make sense, but it's the way it is. I don't know. Okay. So I did grab a key earlier, in part because I wanted to be able to do the LJ, but also because I need the key. I want to open this door and then go into this room, and you normally don't walk over here, but you see this gate? There's a gate in City in the Sky that is basically run on the same script, and the game only allows 1 to be loaded at any given time. And they don't actually unload unless you, like, close the software or reboot the entire game, right? And so that's gonna actually save time in City if I do it in the same sitting. Of course, I'm gonna start the tutorial later. So, okay, so what I was doing there is I was claw shotting that. So what I'm going to do is target now. I'm going to walk forward until I'm, like, about here-ish, right? It's not really that precise. And then you start walking a little to the right and side hop, pull out the sword while you're falling, and you'll land on this part of the bridge. You can kind of walk at an angle until you're about here, and then start pressing the B button, and you'll land in the bridge. You want to backflip, you want to hold B, you want to walk left until... Okay, that scale that I'm looking at, I'm not sure that this is going to show up this precise on the eye tracker. But basically there is one scale that is barely touching the gray here, right? The wall, okay? And you want that to pretty much look like that. You let go of the spin attack, 3 backflips, and kind of hold upright-ish and backflip so that you land in the little boss area. And that took me so long to learn because I used to be so terrible at this game. It probably took me an hour to get it once, but it's really not hard if you just do what I said. It's pretty much no other nuances to it. Yeah, it's just simple. You gotta just be clean with movement. And there's a certain feel. Okay, so I side hop. Okay, I should explain that. Before I explain that, there is a certain feel for the bridge clip, for like exactly how far you need to be in terms of like where the edge of the wall is between Link's legs before you start slashing. But that's just something you get used to. It is like around halfway. But anyways, what I did there, claw shotted the thing to me, continued targeting. Did a side hop. While I was side hopping, I pulled out my sword so that I wouldn't slash the guy by pulling out my sword. And then I did a jump attack quick spin. And what that's going to do is going to make it so that one of those is going to hit the eyeball, basically. 9 times out of 10, one of those is going to hit the eyeball. And both of those do enough damage to go ahead and get the eye enough damage so that you go into the second phase. And once you go into the second phase, you just start doing the other thing. So I took off boots as well, so that I can just swim immediately. But yeah, you'll see now we're going into the second phase. So I swam up until I got close to him. I equipped iron boots, and then I claw shredded the eyeball. And the reason I did that is because of what you just saw. What I was basically able to do was force unequip iron boots by equipping some non-equipped item, in this case the lantern, over it on the touchscreen. And then that'll basically make me get off of his back, or her back, immediately, more fearless as she. So I don't get flung up in the air and have like hit stun essentially where I can't claw shot immediately. And so what I would do is I try to time that equip such that Morphula is going down whenever I force unequip iron boots essentially. And so that'll make it so that not only am I going to immediately get off of Morphula and not have hit stun, but I can just go ahead and immediately re-grab. And that's why it's called a re-grab. It is kind of wonky, as you'll see right there. The claw shot doesn't look like it's actually connected to the eye, but I did claw shot the eye, and this will make it so that I can just go ahead and grab again and do more slashes. Now, I'm not wearing the boots right now, right? So I can't do the same strat again. However, you can do the other strat in such a way that is much harder, and you would have to pause and pause buffer things to get it to work. I have done it before. I have it clipped somewhere. There is a way to essentially put the iron boots back on before you do the first regrab, so that you can do another regrab, the second of which is much easier, and then you can just regrab twice and finish the blow. It's actually like half a second faster, maybe. Well, I messed that up. Normally you can just swim straight down, and then down to the left really, and then immediately grab again. But I kind of messed up a little bit because Morpheus swam more up than normal. But normally that does work. So, anyways. That's Morpheus dead. Not really a hard boss. The regrabs aren't really necessary. I mean, of course, you could just do what I was talking about twice, where you just swim, like, down and to the left. It doesn't really lose that much time, but it's a bit of time. So, I don't know. I think the strat's worth going for. But it's not make or break, really. It's not like Bliss where you, like, really should learn Bliss. So, anyways. Okay, and in the 80% round, normally I will grab this heart container. So, there you go. Anyways, I can just roll up and left and get the heart container. And then now we're gonna do a bunch of running as Wolflink to go get the Master Sword and do a bunch of stuff. And this takes about 12 minutes. And I could skip this, but there's like a couple of strats that I should probably explain. I don't know. Don't save here. This is a waste of time. We're getting close to being about halfway done with the 80% route. Pretty much once you get Master Sword, you're a little over halfway through. So. I think the exact halfway point is basically whenever you finish Minna's Desperate Hour, which is the part where the music is playing, like right now in this Lament. I'm gonna run to the left of this rock. It's not really all that much faster. It's just feels faster, so I do it that way. But basically, the goal here is to just get to Castle Town so that we can get to Telma's bar. And it's pretty much just 2 minutes of running. It's kind of boring, but whatever. So again, we want to dash cancel through here. Careful not to talk to the cat like I just did. Don't talk to the signs either. You should be able to do everything I've done up to this point in SD, other than like anything that's frame perfect. Which you could still do, it would just be harder, because there's no input buffer. But yeah, I mean, pretty much everything could be done the same, I believe. I tried to get a strat there that would break this cutscene. I didn't get quite enough distance, I don't think. If you attack at just the right time, you'll save about half a second. But anyways, the whole thing in SD is that you just, in Lake Bed, you wouldn't really want to go into the room with the gate, because, like, gate unloading isn't a thing in SD. So, anyways, I like, there's certain stuff I wouldn't do, but you could still do the same route. Essentially, just with, like, a couple of minor modifications to not do stuff that HD does. SD route would be slower because no gate unloading, and I'm gonna hold A and left here so that I jump over the spot or push it out of the way. It's just a little minor optimization. That wouldn't be fair because of gate unloading, and also The other thing would be loading zones, yeah. You just jump attack, B attack this guy twice. Like, SD would definitely be slower. I'm not sure exactly how much time HD would save on loading zones, but yeah, HD saves some time. Worth noting, since we're talking about loading zones, if you have the disc version of this game, it's about 4 minutes slower on the entire 80% route, compared to the digital version. The digital version, since it, you know, is like directly on your hard drive or some external hard drive, is like faster on loading. I assume because the memory is formatted in just a better way than the disc itself. So what I did there is, you want to kill these bats because otherwise you'll be looking at them and be able to climb up this ledge. But yeah, most of this stuff has been pretty minor movement stuff, which I hope, even though I haven't really been commenting on, you can pick up on. There's some stuff with timing that I'm going to try to explain while I'm going out here. Shouldn't turn the camera like I just did. So you want to spin attack to block this arrow, jump attack this guy off into the water so he dies. This guy's going to walk towards me, and then once he starts walking the second time, I want to jump attack. So if you jump attack earlier, it's risky because you could just fall in the water. Go ahead and just run to this next rope. It's about 45 seconds on not unloading the gate purple. Again, hug the insides so that this rope is easy. And then once that guy starts walking towards you, you can jump at him. I missed a strat right here. I'll get this one. Once you get 2 steps forward on that last rope, you can jump attack at this guy. The strat that I missed, you can just, instead of walking across those ropes, you can jump across. It's a little riskier though, because if you mess up, it's bad. So, anyways. I attacked that guy so he wouldn't shoot me. And hopefully, if I get really good luck on this jump, then I can show off a cool trick. I should be able to do it. So what I'm going to try to show off is early run cycle. So I'm going to jump onto this bridge and then jump off, right? And if you get a really good angle on that second jump and don't mess up otherwise, you can do that. Otherwise, you need to wait for the next cycle and just do essentially the same thing. But that saves like 4 seconds, I think. I think that's usually about how much time it saves whenever I get it. I'm not exactly sure on the timing on that, though. So right here, I'm going to hold L instead of map warping, because Midna will talk to me faster than I'll be able to pull up the map. I believe you can pause twice, but I'm bad at it to be able to pull up map, but anyways. We're going to rub forward here to fight these things. So I'm gonna run forward and then spin attack trying to get all these guys. You can kind of push this monkey around in the cutscene so that she appears at different spots during this part. It's just a fun little thing to do at that time. Okay, you don't want to be too far forward here or else you'll just jump attack directly off if you're holding Z and A. But about the middle of that platform is fine. Hopefully I didn't... Well, I probably missed the proper log cycle I'm supposed to be here. Oh well. We're gonna do the Midna talking wind trick again. Yeah, that was the cycle I was supposed to make right there, but I'll just wait for the next log cycle. Well then. Okay, that's not how that's supposed to go, but I didn't fall, so, you know, whatever. Okay, yes. You want to howl at the stone so that the wall disappears. There is a quick climb right there, but it's inconsistent. And if you don't, like, you can, I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones where you can, like, just get stuck trying to get the quick climb, but not actually climb. So, like, you're unlikely to get it, and even then, like, you're wasting time, probably, because you're not gonna get it, and you're getting stuck at the wall, like, trying to get it. It's bad, don't go for that one. There's also one in Arbor's grounds where you, like, can definitely void out. There's a few up on the Smoky, only one of which I find really consistent as well. I just go for the one in Elden Twilight and one on the way to Smoky. Also, this is the proper path to go through this area. I don't think you really can go through this area a different way. I know Sacred Grove 2 in all dungeons you can, and there is one definitive fast way. This might just be the way, but, you know, just basically follow my movements is what I'm saying. Don't get tricked out by the thing. So I'm gonna be attack this guy right when I get to the edge so that I just jump all the way off while hitting him. It's gonna put me on the ground, so I don't have to worry about if I'm, like, still on the thing, or if I'm on the ground, or if I'm hanging off the edge. Camera is gonna be weird, though. Fun fact, by the way, I'm pretty sure every single Skull Kid is there at the same time. It's just you think he's actually warping around. I know the one at the end is always here. It's just you can't always get here. So basically, you need to kill at least one of these puppets, and then you don't want to kill anymore because hit stun lags the game, basically. Like, it's not because it can't handle, it's just a feature of the game. And then you just want to move around and wait until you can jump attack Skull Kid, pretty much. You don't have to worry about losing health here, because Master Sword does refill your health, so it doesn't really matter. You can't go a different way through Grove 1. That's what I thought. I'm pretty damn sure that he's... I mean, I know for a fact that he's always in this bottom part. However, I'm pretty sure he's in all the other 3 places at the same time. Because that's what I noticed the last time I was messing around. Like with Moon Jump. Would explain why they only let you go through in a certain direction. There's a fun little thing you can do where you can, like, there's 2 frames to trigger senses in between each jump. So you can try to get these on every jump. I already missed one, of course. I've gotten all 12 before. 12 jumps. This is, by the way you're supposed to do this. Left, then down, then up to the square, then over to the square, then down all the way, then left, then up. You should end up in the same spot as which you started. And it is almost a symmetrical path, but not quite. I think there is, like, one other way that most people casually figure out how to do it. Maybe because it logically makes more sense, I forget. But that way is the fastest way. It has, like, the least movements, I believe. So, anyways. That's true. You do end up in the same place just like the statues, although the statues don't start at the same place. Anyways, this cutscene is like 2 minutes long. Unfortunately, it's not very good for a bathroom break because you only get about 45 seconds before you have to start going through text. Because there's some text like halfway through the cutscene, and then more text like 15 seconds later. So this is the text I'm talking about right here. The other thing is, unlike some other strats where you have like a minute in between, on those you can easily tell if you're, like, in the cutscene state already. But in Master Sword, you can, like, press A, but miss while trying to get up and leave, and then you can, like, leave, even though you didn't actually get the Masters. Anyways. So, like, it's possible to to not start the cutscene while you're going to the bathroom and then come back and be like, damn it. So, yeah. This is not a cutscene I would suggest for bathroom breaks. That's all I'm saying. There's one other way, but it's a few more jumps. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Any power.
Okay, so we did not have to do Epona Clip to get bombs in this route because we could skip King Boban 2 another way. However, we still need bombs because we can't get the ball and chain before Arbiter's rounds because we don't have map glitch. So we do have to go get bombs, but there's a much faster way than what we would normally do in Epona Clip route. It saves like 7.5 minutes over the other way of getting bombs that we used to do because we couldn't warp over there. So anyways, we're gonna warp to Zora's Domain, and we're gonna go down to Zora's River, Upper Zora's River, where Isa is. What do I like more about HD than SD? The camera, gyro, I don't know. Those are the main things. Also, it looks nicer, for sure. Anyways, we're gonna climb out of the water here and then just go along this land path. Much faster than swimming, obviously. But just go along the land path here. Oh, also HD is in 16:9, which looks nice. Although it doesn't play well with splits. You have to, like, leave room on top and bottom. Anyways, so what I'm gonna do here... Alright, so I'm gonna talk to Isa. And then basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm gonna try to transform into Wolf. Essentially, before I trigger the portal thing, right? And so what this is going to do is she's going to invite me in as Wolf, and then I can just warp away with the bomb bag rather than helping her all the way down the river, which is obviously pretty slow. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a pretty much, it's basically box movement, to move around and get into the proper position without activating the portal to turn into Wolf Link. Because if I just walk back to the sign right now and turn into Wolf Link, I think it doesn't work because it won't actually trigger the portal. But there are also spots where you just can't turn into to Wolf Link here. Anyways, what I want to do is I want to hug this corner basically, and then here, I'm going to show you a bad backflip. That's a bad backflip. And then I'm going to show you a good backflip. See how like Link brought up the shield? You want him to bring up his shield, okay? And then, so what you do, get up in the corner, wait for him to bring up shield, backflip, side hop twice, jump spin, jump attack, and then hold left, and then I messed it up somehow. I don't even know how that happened. But if this happens, just save warp. This is good to show the backup. Not sure exactly why they didn't work, actually. I'll have to look at that later and try to figure it out. But again, here's the backup. You wanna go around to the side and then just do the thing again. I believe it acts as if you've already talked to her. There you go. So this should bring up the board. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was different between those two. I don't usually mess that up. Maybe it's because I was going so slow. Anyways, she's not actually going to scream and talk to me. The portal's just gonna activate. And then we just kill these guys and show what's inside. I think on balance, it's a good thing that I basically got to show the backup. It's kind of nice. So she's gonna bring me inside, and if I say yes, she is going to give me a bomb bag. Right? So, I now have a bomb bag. but this is going to disappear when I save warp. I want to keep it for the rest of the run. And so it saves a little time, and it's just easier overall of a route if you just warp back to the same exact spot to bring you in again, and you can talk to her again. And this is going to have some weird side effects. It's going to give me a black rupee that's basically going to act as... Actually, I'll just explain this in more detail. Alright, so in my inventory right now, I have a black rupee where the bow would normally be, but it's not actually a bow. You can still equip bombs onto it as bomb arrows, but it doesn't actually work, and it just empties your bomb bag. She also empties my main bag. However, when I save warp, what's going to happen is whatever your bomb bag was, so let's say you had 28 bombs in your bomb bag. We had 30, but let's say you had 28. When you save warp, you're going to end up with a bomb bag with 28 bombs. And in our case, we're going to end up with a bomb bag with 30 bombs. Now, we do have an empty bomb bag, so we're going to go ahead and talk to her again to fill up our bombs again. And now we can go ahead and save warp, or not save warp, warp to the entire way. What's with the box movement? If you don't do precise movement, it's going to, like, think that you, well, I don't know. You have to go to, like, a certain spot to get it so that the portal will trigger when you're Wolf Link. Also, I just want to point out that I have 3 boomerangs equipped. I no longer do, but I did. That's a side effect of the warping back to Isa thing. What was I gonna say? Oh, I think, so you, pretty sure you can turn into Wolf Link most places, but they tried to account for that by basically making it so that the portal wouldn't spawn if you like went in a certain direction that they thought would let you get to Wolfling. So by just skirting this like one area, it's going to think that we should be able to trigger the portal while still letting us turn into Wolfling. So I think that's the gist of that trick. But anyways, whatever. There are other methods of doing it. That's just, I think, the easiest one, and what most people do. So we went ahead and got the memo there. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump down. This is, I believe, the fastest way to do this movement is just jump onto this little rock wall thing here. You can swim back. I don't think it's faster, though, especially if you have to equip Zora armor, which we would have to do. So make sure you actually show him the memo rather than talking to him directly, and then you'll end up in the desert. Yay. Let me go ahead and equip Lantern. So there are a couple ways to cross the desert. The way I'm doing is not the way most people do it, but it's not actually any slower. I think some people just have a certain way that they do because it's easier to do an SD where you're basically just looking at the ground the entire time you're running across the desert to avoid lag. So, anyways. No, I don't think it's any faster at all, actually. And also you would die in Snow Peak, so not worth it. If you had bow and arrow, you could kill these guys from far away and avoid this cutscene, but we don't have bow and arrow. If it was night, I believe you could also just steal the boar from my Dungeons and Roses. Anyways. I'm gonna go ahead and spin attack these guys and then kill them all 3 at the same time. You don't have to kill all 3 of them, it's just usually it's convenient to. And they control you out of getting a boar. Okay, once we get next to this thing, we start dashing. I'm timing this so that I will go through both of these wooden fences rather than just one of them, because I don't want to have to crash off the board. It's a little faster to just time it. Now I can turn into wolf and climb up over here. I'm not going to have much time to explain what I'm about to do here. I'm basically going to get into a certain spot, LJA with timing when the boomerang is over a pillar, and then use some collision that we're not supposed to be able to get on top of, to get on top of the roof, and then activate the King Bulbin cutscene without going around and getting the key. That's essentially what I'm about to do. I'm not really... These guys are gonna shoot at me, which is why I don't really have time. So I'm gonna walk to about here, aim about here, and then once it's over the thing, jump. Do a jump slash there, do a jump slash there, target over here-ish, do a jump slash to get off here. That's just for safety. You don't have to do that last jump slash, it's just a safety thing. Then roll to the middle twice. The fastest way to kill King Bulbin is usually, I kind of messed it up. It's usually just spin attacks. So you'll try to jump spin with a certain timing, which I got in the first one, but didn't get in any of the other things, actually. And then you'll just do spin attacks after that. And you can fit 4 in before, if you swing at him again, he'll kill you, basically. So. It might be 40 seconds. I'm not exactly sure. It's probably less... Well, actually, I know it's less than Matt Polish version, because otherwise you guys would do this in SD. Of course, maybe not, because we also have quick transport. So maybe not, but I do believe that's faster, and I think that version is like 40 to 45 second time save. Anyways, you want to go ahead and take this board into this wall here. Nice frame drops. I love it. I hope the stream doesn't crash, but if it does, I apologize. Alright, so we can just go ahead and go to Arbiters now. And I'll probably do post-skip a few times. I'm gonna do it once the way that I normally do it, and then I will go back and do it a few more times, just to show the setup again. So again, we wolf across sand there, because it is faster than human movement. Or, well, in HD it's faster. In SD, since you don't have quick transform, it's faster to go across as human. Don't do that in HD, it's a waste of time. It's much easier to just do the wolf movement. Just make sure not to go too close to the middle of those sand pits, otherwise you'll void. Anyway, so we go get this small key, we can go to the next room. We're really just trying to get into the room with a pose. So you can do all of that shenanigan. All that jazz shenanigans. So we're gonna watch the cutscene, but we're not actually gonna kill the first foe. I'm gonna go ahead and clip bombs just so that I can show the way that I like doing post skip, just in case anybody wants to pick up on the way I specifically do it. But anyways, so these guys are gonna close the door. There's currently no way to skip this. If there was a magnetic floor, we actually would be able to skip this. Unfortunately, there's no magnetic floor here, so we're stuck just having to watch this cutscene and go get 3 of the 4 pose. So the game assumes that you shouldn't be able to get to Po 4 first. It assumes that there's a certain order to them. So it locks Po 2 behind Ascent, which you should only be able to get from the first one. However, we can get it from the 4th one, which is what we're gonna do. Alright, so I'm gonna throw a bomb to the side to distract these little worms. And hopefully kill them. And LJ over here, once he's standing up, I walk into the pillar and then jump up here. That's an easy way to do it. Did I kill both of them? No, okay. So I'm gonna have to kill him while going back to explain this a couple more times in like better detail. This is by no means the only way to do this, but basically I walk to the corner so that like 1 foot is in the sand and 1 foot's not. That should give you good positioning. I target, like, you see how I'm targeting the top of this pillar right here? Just target the top of the pillar, LJ across. Once Link stands all the way up, start walking forward and into the pillar, and then just change your angle just ever so slightly to climb up this ledge. And it's pretty easy. It used to be much more difficult. You just go ahead and LJ across, since those stairs are at a slightly higher level. But again, post skip, I can't really say much more about that. It's just a practice thing. You do have to press A while you're on top of the pillar, by the way. I don't think I explained that, actually. But you have to press A to roll. Because you'll up warp onto the pillar, but you won't actually, roll unless you press A. Okay, so before I go in here, I'm going to explain. There's like a little fast strat you can do with this Poe. So basically, you're going to see the Poe. We're going to line the camera up so that when he stops spinning, he's either going to be directly in front of us, to our right, to our left, or behind us. Okay? And what we're going to try to do is we're going to do some RNG manipulation. So that he will... The Poe, I guess, I don't know what the gender of the Poe is, whatever. The Poe is going to automatically start spinning as soon as we finish hitting him the first time, right? And so essentially how this is going to work is if he's in front of us, once we finish the midna charge to hit him the first time, which of course you want to midna charge and walk in cardinal directions to get to the guy, right? That's first and foremost. You don't want to move before any of this. But once you do that, if he's in front of you, once you midna charge, you're going to land in the sand. You want to walk to the right. You want to let go of target. You want to walk to the right, right? Get out of the sand, target, and jump attack. And you want to do that as fast as you possibly can, and that should make him start spinning pretty much immediately after that. Sometimes it takes like a second. They'll start spinning. If you did it right, they'll start spinning pretty early on. If he's to our right, we simply just jump attack immediately after we finish the midna charge. It's super easy. If he's to our left, we just side hop to the right. You target, and you side hop to the right. You just hold right and side hop. If he is below us, you just don't do anything until he starts spinning quickly. And this, I think, is probably the most finicky one. So we'll see which one we're going to get. And then we're going to go through, and I'm going to show you that I'm not crazy and that this is probably going to work. So. Okay, so again, you target once to center the camera. Okay, so see what I did there? Now he moves around fast. And you want to move towards this exit here so that you're closer to the exit whenever you're done. That was the best possible RNG, actually, in terms of where he can spawn. But anyways. The other thing to mention, the number of times they spin around when they're going fast is completely random. There's nothing you can do about that. Same with the number of times... Well, I guess the number of times before they start spinning fast is not random. Anyways, you want to press A to get the post sent. Let me go out of here. The reason I say that the number of times they spin before going fast is not random is because you can manipulate that, so it's like, whatever. We're going to push this block 4 times so that we can come back through this entrance. If you don't push it at least 4 times, then that entrance will be blocked whenever you come back in here. There is a red rupee in that chest that was by the block, but we don't really need it, so we're not going to grab it. Okay, so we're gonna mid-discharge this guy into the chest to get the key that we need. And we're gonna transform him to human, and 1 slash will kill this guy. He's dead. If this bubble gets too close, you can always slash him. That target's always finicky. Okay, this guy's over to our left. We can jump attack him to get him to start doing this early. Then we want to mid-charge him. Then mid-charge the 2 skulls to get him out of the way. Mid-charge him again. Finish once the pops up, basically. Pretty easy. Takes a little bit of practice to get all of this movement down exactly. Like, there's a lot of ways you can flub this stuff. This is not an easy split, by the I haven't messed anything up yet. Except for, like, a bonk, but, you know, whatever. There's a rat down here that's gonna hit you off the thing. That can be good, but it can also mess you up, so I usually just spin attack him. But if you let him go, then he can hit you off while the thing is still moving, and it'll keep turning. And you can leave the room earlier, but anyways, it doesn't really matter. Either strategy is valid. It's just that you can get locked so that the rat just continues hitting you without you being able to initiate the push. It's bad. Make sure you don't go in the room right above me. You don't want to waste that key. Go right back across here. That's why we pushed the block earlier. This is where the bulk of the time save and post skip is right here. The fact that we are skipping several rooms by just going through rooms we've already completed very quickly. Climb up. That collision, or near those stairs, you can bonk on it a lot. You really do want to go around wide like I did there. It's the fastest way to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and re-equip bombs and need them later. That's a bonk. Nice. Okay, this room, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna target the redoubt, and then I'm gonna target a bunch of these Salkins. And once I get like 5 or so, I'll be confident enough that I'm gonna hit him on the way out, and then hit him on the way back, because he was the first thing I targeted. And those 2-minute charges are gonna kill him. I'm gonna go into this corner to try not to target the Stalkins. Now I'm gonna target the Stalkins to try to kill them. Make sure I'm not targeting the Redead. You do not want him to scream at you. And you kill that guy. So I still really haven't messed anything up. I mean, I just wasted time, like, explaining stuff, but... This would have been a good split run, actually. For one of these splits, you know, considering that all of the other ones have been pretty bad. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to, instead of dashing immediately, I'm gonna B-attack to get over here so that I can do a dash cancel. It's gonna save a little time. And now you're gonna see the game assumes that we had to have gotten the first one to get the second one, and therefore it's gonna go ahead and raise the door during this cutscene, rather than actually checking to make sure that we got all 4. Which is weird. I don't know why it does it that way. It just does. So now we can go ahead and go into the second part of really the second half of Arbiters. I did an 80% race not too long ago. It was like a couple days ago, or 3, maybe it was 3 days ago. I did an 80% race. It was bad. And I did an all dungeons race yesterday that really I was the only one that actually did all the dungeons. Lowly Cry stopped and did any percent instead. I probably should have explained what I just did. I was just jumping across the sand, but I also jumped in between the wall. You have to have like a pretty nice angle. I don't know how to explain it better than that though. But yeah, and then I did an all dungeons run yesterday, which was really good until, or actually probably more like decent, not really good, until Temple of Time. And then I lost 3 minutes in Temple, and like I lost a minute in Palace before then. Okay, this is the optimal movement through this room. I don't know how to explain it. Just like copy the B attacks and A attacks that you saw there. Same with this room. So we're gonna set up kills for these Stalfos while getting over to the other part, like where the gate actually is. I'm surprised I dodged that. We're gonna side hop through here, just because I feel like it. This is not actually faster, I just do this. Oh, there's something I haven't explained, it's just like a general thing. Okay, so yeah, that was kind of slow, but anyways, ideally off of that last platform, you like jump slash, you get an actual hop and then you can slash instead of having to climb up and getting caught by beetles, but whatever. Whenever you want to equip an item, like, okay, so I pulled out Boomerang. You see how like it takes a while before I can actually do anything with the Boomerang or aim, or like actually target anything? What I've been doing this whole time is I've been pressing the C-stick, going into first person, and then bringing out the item, and I can immediately do it. So if you do this really fast, it's like super fast. You can do that with any item that you pull out. I don't think it's actually really any faster with the bow. Pretty sure it's not really faster with the bow. I know in all dungeons I don't usually do that with the bow. Like in the Skull Kid 2 chase, specifically. Okay, so I want to basically, as soon as the sword is over his head, I want to jump at him with Wolf Link. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to target him with a boomerang automatically, and then throw it as soon as he starts moving. And I want to spin attack him. And then do jump attack, and 5 sets of 3 slashes. There are a bunch of ways to do that, by the way. That's just the way I do it. You can do it with 7 sets of 3 slashes rather than a jump attack, 5 sets of 3 slashes, and then 1 full combo. Which is what I did. Both of those do 28 or 21 damage. I think the way I do it, and a bunch of other people do it, is just a little bit faster. But yeah, that's how you kill that guy. But basically, I should explain how he works, I guess. So he has a timer that basically moves. You start losing time on that timer before he goes back up into the air whenever you're not slashing at him. Okay? But the other thing that will automatically send him up in the air is if you get a 4-hit combo on him. So what we want to do is we want to be slashing as much time as possible, right? While not sending him back up in the air, which is why we do the 3-hit combos. Some people do stabs. I just prefer not doing stabs because the stabs sometimes miss. So, anyways, you got the spinner. Now we can go ahead and save warp. A good save warp time for spinner is probably like 2:12 or 2:11. So this is going to put us at the front of the dungeon, and then we can go ahead and equip spinner. And we're actually going to spinner through this room rather than wolfing through this room. And get off the spinner early and roll through the sand by just storing a roll. I shouldn't roll that many times, by the way, that I just did Zeal Bonk. But basically we're just working our way back to that main room with the little spinner hole. I'm not sure why they expected that anybody would go through those rooms. Well, I guess, okay, because you'd have to get the boss key out of it. I was just gonna say, I'm not sure why they didn't just expect people to save warp. It's just because you would get the boss key on the way. You'd already be in this room, so there would be no point in save warping, but still. But yeah, by doing the second half backwards and then save warping, we get to skip out on a bunch of crap. And, like, the rooms that are, like, not super simple in terms of spinner movement become a lot harder. Or, I mean, a lot easier, I mean. That's what I meant. Like, the wolf movement is way easier than spinner movement in those rooms. I mean, fast spinner movement, specifically. But once I get up here, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. You want to wait until you're, like, on the part where it's actually a full length of the staircase rather than, like, the half length that's there. Also, I clipped out the camera by just holding... I mean, you saw how I was holding on the C-stick. Basically, if you do that, you can clip the camera out of bounds to see a little better. Okay, so... The first phase of Scout Lord is basically just hit the spine and dodge skeletons. The first hit, you don't have to dodge anything. The second hit, you have to dodge some stuff. The third hit, not only do you have to dodge stuff, but you have to go behind him, bounce off a thing behind him, and then end up in front of him. And there are a couple... On the third one, basically, you usually want to go for the skeletons that are further away to bounce off of, because it's more consistent. But you can go for the closer ones. Also, every time you start on the rail like this, you have more speed than if you're just coming back up here from messing up. So that's something to keep in mind for, like, pretty much any phase. So I'm gonna go around to the right. Well, I could have bounced off. I probably should have bounced off that guy. Oh, I could have potentially made that. This isn't gonna make it back. I don't know why I'm trying this. Oh, it made it. Nice. Don't do that. I didn't get to show... Okay, basically... Okay, so... You want to go directly behind him, and hopefully there will be a skeleton. It didn't line up for me, but hopefully there will be a skeleton that lines up pretty much like right behind. And then you can bounce off that, and then the camera will turn around naturally, and you can go hit the spine and avoid stuff on the way back. It's pretty easy. I kind of botched it. Okay, so, before I do this, let us enable desktop audio and do a couple changes to audio properties so I'm not getting double game audio. Okay, that should be good. And then let's make it so that the desktop audio is recorded. And then close that, and then we're going to pull up the Stalwart music. And you may be wondering why I'm pulling up the Stalwart music. There is a reason. Stalwart music, second phase. Alright. Alright, I'm going to tell you when to press the button. Whenever I say now is when you press the button. Whenever I snap, actually. I'll snap. I don't know if you heard the snap. I can try to do that. I'm gonna do that again. Like that. Okay? On that third high note, there's just like bum, bum, bum. So on that note is when you want to press the spinner button when I do what I'm about to do. Okay? That's very important that you get the timing right. But anyways, I'm gonna spin her back into this hole. And then we will do what I just said. We're gonna roll 5 times. And after the 5th roll, we're going to wait for the audio cue to get on the spinner, and then we're going to get in between the wall and Stallard while he's still close to the ground, and we can hit him down. Then we're going to do a 6 quick spins, basically, to kill him, because they each hit 3 times and deal enough damage. So that's the plan right here. So wish me luck. So just like that. So now he's dead, and I can fix my audio settings. His audio properties. Let's see. And I will turn that off. Recording and then mute that. Right, there we go. Should be good now. See when you get back, probably. Okay, so that's basically how Stalwart works. Not that bad of a fight. The first phase is definitely harder than the second phase. I know that quick knockdown looks hard and probably will be hard for people starting out, but it's not really that bad. You just gotta make sure you're rolling semi-close to the wall, but like not losing speed rolling into the wall, for example, and then just time the audio cue. Spinnering out of here is fast, because the spinner is really fast in this room. Okay. So now we're going to go up and we're going to kill these shadow beasts. Unfortunately, well, I guess we need this anyways, because we're going to have to raise the mirror and get the portal anyways, but we have to do both of these things right now. The game actually physically won't let you warp away. So that's the thing. But anyways, so I'm holding left here, or up left, and then I'm gonna do a jump spin to kill 2 things, like right out of the cutscene. Then I'm gonna roll twice to roll stab this guy, and roll in between these guys, and do a spin. And that is definitely the fastest way to kill these guys. You can do this as Wolf as well. And I'm dropping hella frames, but the good thing is I'm recording locally, so it doesn't really matter. And we don't have that much more time anyways till we're gonna be done. So once we raise the mirror, we can go ahead and warp to Sora's domain. Unfortunately, you have to do the whole Greek fish side quest, which wastes like 4 minutes or something. Not quite 4. It's probably like 3 minutes, but it is still annoying that we have to do. This time we go right. Most of the time you go right. There's like, I think one time where you go left on these. You want to make sure you're not jumping onto the land here. You want to jump so that you're like in between the waterfall and the ground, but not on the land. Because losing a heart here is kind of bad. Especially for all dungeons. Try not to lose health there. But you can do a better jump than that as well. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, you want to make sure to jump off pretty much at the point I'm jumping, just with a tiny bit of a better angle. It's the fastest way to get to the land from there, so. Now we can go ahead and, if we can click cap, we can go back to cap. To actually click the thing on the touchscreen rather than clicking around it like 5 times. Amazing. So we could get the silver rupee now, but it's more convenient to get it later because of a couple of reasons, so we're just not going to get it now. And that goes for both routes. It's definitely more convenient in either route to get the silver rupee later. Way more so in all dungeons, really, so whatever. Okay, so you want to go, like, kind of behind this. You don't have to, like, actually be behind the rock. Okay, you can't show the thing to him until it says speak, by the way. So, if you're, like, showing it to him and he's, like, no reaction or whatever, then, like, that's why. But anyways. Yeah, so transform when you're, like, on the side of the rock and then roll behind the rock to warp. Map work, basically. So back to Zora's domain so that we can fish, descent, and then go to Snow Peak. It's fun. Very, very fun. So this way we go left. You want to equip the fishing rod while I'm moving, but it's always hard, so that's why I kind of screwed up there. You do want to try to jump off a little to the left here. That was not a very good angle, but not terrible either. You want to get over here as fast as possible. These fish, I believe, try to troll you more. Not really a whole lot you can do about it. Again, once the bobber goes down, pull the thing. Yeah, see? Sometimes they'll nibble, and if you don't get, like, perfect reaction time, they won't stay on the rod. It wastes, like, somewhere between 10 and 15 seconds. And then apparently that was pulling too fast. These guys are just jerks, basically. I need to work on my fishing, frankly. There we go. So I think the first time I was not trigger happy enough, and then the second time I was too trigger happy, and then this time I actually got it right. There you go. Reek fishing. So now we can just go back across here. Since we have the reek fish scent, the game isn't going to void us when we try to go up to Snow Peak, so that's what we're doing. And this is kind of fun. You can kind of dash cancel across these. You're back. Nice. Okay. Pretty easy jumps. I'm pretty sure the more fun way to go across those with just jumping across more of the ice blocks is actually faster. So that's nice. I just have never really considered going left there. Unfortunately, these slopes here are really annoying, so like, I still don't know exactly the best way to go through here and not slow down in the snow. Okay, so this is the quick climb I was talking about, this one right here. It's the, like, one consistent one that I think is worth going for. It's, like, on the way up the snow peak. Side note, there's about 5 minutes left of this until I'm probably done with the tutorial for today. Because there's about 2.5 minutes from now until we get into Snow Peak, and then there's, you know, another 2.5 minutes for Ball and Chain. Maybe a few extra minutes for explaining stuff. Okay, so I'm going to try to backflip here, so that I can quickly get up here. I got kind of lucky there. That top bat should have hit me. Basically, we don't want to get hit by the ice keys. Okay, so we're gonna roll 4 times around the edge here, and then kind of walk over this corner. You probably... You don't want to have that bad. You kind of want to... What? That should have worked. Okay, whatever. Here, we'll do it better this time. There we go, that's good. Alright. You want an angle so that it's, like, not super far to the right, but not, like, directly into the wall. I'm not sure how I managed to miss that. But anyways, that'll spawn you up here, and you don't have to actually do the fight. You should say no there. I'm not sure why I said yes. It was dumb. Okay, so now I can just go ahead and roll into the tree. I'm gonna hold... So I'm doing analog glitch right here. So that side hop, I actually wasn't holding the direction to the side. I was holding the direction that the camera was facing for, like, a little side hop. Analog glitch is just something where, like, sometimes the camera will be weird when, like, you're coming out of cutscenes. This is not how you should do this, but I saved it, so whatever. Ideally, you jump more over the cliff wall there, so that you don't end up on the far thing. Also, you want to get these rupees. I might get them. Yeah, I got them. You definitely want to get those because we need to be at 100 rupees. If you don't get them, there are backup rupees, it's just not very fast. I'm not a big fan, so... The backup ruby, okay, so basically, there's a couple bubbles in Snow Peak that you can get. There's one fast one in the lobby after you save warp from Ball and Chain that gives you 100 rupees if you kill it with the Ball and Chain. And it's the front left one, like the furthest away from the doors here to the left. Anyways, now that we're all the way down here, I hope none of that snowboarding really needed that much explanation. It wasn't great of a showcase of how the thing is supposed to go. You can watch other runs for that. This is just to get an idea, really. Okay, so I'm gonna LJ across here. Then we're gonna claw shot through the ground, kind of point at the little corner there. If you're standing on the side of the chest, that is. Okay, we're gonna roll to this spot, and we're gonna target, like, right behind this chain. Above and to the right a little bit of this, but pretty much at the top. And then, like, somewhere over to the right pretty far. And then once it's in the window, and once it's out of bounds on this side as well, that's when you do the jumps. Now we want to void to get back to the start of this room. But basically, that's just something you have to learn to time. But again, once it gets to the window, and then once it's out of bounds in between the second two targets. That door takes a while to open. I'm not sure why. Also not sure why I have so much damage. I guess I avoided an extra time. Alright, so we're gonna do freeze hard skip. Basically, you wanna go next to the guy, get frozen, and then while he's turning back, you wanna jump in between him and the wall with a B attack. You can just back walk and press open if you're fast. Otherwise, you can just walk over here with the invincibility frames and open the door. It's really quite easy. I guess I'll explain that a bit more in depth. So, okay, so what you do is you go in between him and the wall and you get hit. The reason I was B-attacking the wall is so that I'd get out of the ice faster. But there are ways to do it where you get more time when he's turning back around, where you don't have to break out of the ice faster. But you don't want to be, like, super fast with jumping through the wall, necessarily. You want to, like, wait until you know you have control of Link and then press B. Otherwise, you might just, like, hit... But anyways, you also don't target, don't jump attack. It's just hold up left and press B. It's not hard. But anyways, that's the gist of it. And if possible, I'll die in here and have to show it again, because I might get hit doing this. I'm gonna roll behind him, then I'm gonna put a bomb down, and then I'm gonna... Yeah, I died. Apparently my timing on that roll has been terrible recently. Hey, look at that, I clipped through the wall. We'll try this again. I guess I could show the other method. We're, like, basically in position to do it anyways. So, the other method is to let him turn all the way around, freeze yourself, and then jump, beat the attack once he gets close enough that way. And it also gives you more time to open this door. But, I don't know. I just don't like that method as much. It is slower as well, because you have to wait for him to turn all the way, pretty much. You could theoretically do a combination between the two, I guess. Really. I'm not sure why I'm messing that up recently. Oh, come on. Yeesh. Whatever. Respin attacks. I was trying to show off a strat. Basically, you want to roll around him, or claw shot over him. Apparently, I don't know how to do this today. I might... Well, I don't know. I might redo that in the second half of the tutorial, frankly, but we'll see. Anyways, normally what you do is you put a bomb behind him, and then roll around, and then after he throws the thing at you, what you do is you would, the bomb would explode, like, once his tail becomes vulnerable, and then you could just, like, jump spin his tail to kill him, and it's faster. Apparently I don't remember how to do the fight. I'll have to practice it at some point, but it's the main gist of it. I mean, okay, so either he's, like, right here, and you roll behind him and then roll back without getting hit or something, or you, claw shot over him, like, further than that, theoretically, and then he'll throw it at you. You go behind him, 3 spin attacks, or a bomb, and a jump spin, like that. So, I don't know. I feel like this tutorial is very lacking because I've messed up a bunch of crap, but whatever. There's tutorials on this, like, a lot. This is mainly to show visual cues and, like, movement, so even if it's not perfect, whatever. But this will conclude the first 2/3 of the tutorial. I am conveniently stopping here because, basically, if someone were to be watching this on YouTube right now, and I come out with the last part of the Any % tutorial and the last part of the All Dungeons tutorial, since they're both the same up to this point, I can basically tell them, as I would do right now, legitimately right now, to go over to either the All Dungeons video or the Any % video based on which route they're doing. So, anyways. But yeah, for Any % you would save warp here. So, in All Dungeons you would go outside. And this is really where it breaks off. But I think I am done for now. I wonder if anybody's live. but I should host. We'll see. I'm gonna stop recording locally though.